Hello there and welcome to Shuttle Bay 4. This time we're talking about Destination 2025, an unofficial Star Trek convention. Thanks to everyone who gave permission for their photos to be used in this video, and thanks to Riker's beard. Everyone loves Riker's beard, and they dropped by partway through the discussion to give their perspective on the event. Ooh, and apologies for the choppy editing, but you'd be amazed at how many hours it takes to make this look quite so amateurish.
How are we all? Suitably depressed?
Take me back a week.
Yeah. Oh, it's depressing.
Because this is our destination review, I'll no doubt be sticking a load of photos on.
Yep.
So I'm going to resize this so it's square so they fit on next to us.
Right.
If that makes
Oh,
sense.
cool.
Right.
But let's start. Let's do it. So, what we're doing? Oh yeah, Destination 2025 was literally last weekend. In fact, this time last week, Dee's just posted in the Facebook group a picture of us all sat there at a table eating. So I don't know if you saw in the chat, but I put a suggested loose framework, not an agenda, because we don't do agendas. So I thought we'd start with a quick, less than 2 minutes, a really quick one, just a quick round the table, just a quick summary of whether you enjoyed the convention or not. I think I know the answer to that, and whether you felt it worked, and then we'll go into detail after that when we look at the venue and the guests and all that sort of thing. But I thought it'd be good to have a quick 2 minute summary of what we thought. If this looks a bit strange because all of a sudden we're all wearing different stuff, it's because this conversation went over 2 weeks, and we'll just edit it between the two to fit the narrative.
We're ready now. It's a recording.
What am I supposed to say?
Just say that we're setting off.
We're setting off now, everybody, apparently.
We're setting off now. We're going to trek so hard. We're going to trek till we bleed.
Bleed, apparently. See you soon.
So this is my quick summary of the convention. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great convention, and it feels like Destination's been transitioning into something different, and it feels like it's kind of there now. A lot of folk remember the halcyon days of 50 or 60, guests, including, your big A-listers and filling up big exhibition spaces. But with the relationship with CBS Paramount, that's just not possible these days. And Jason Joyner's always said that this is a convention by fans, for fans. And I think that's more relevant now than it's ever been. Because before, fan groups and non-Trek personalities presenting stuff, it almost felt a bit like filler. But now, it doesn't. This feels like a fan community group filling up spaces and filling up schedules. It's clicked, and it works really well. The addition of Star Trek guests is expected, is needed, right? But it's just part of the event now, and it's not the reason for it being there, to me anyway, for me when I go. And when you buy into it, it's got a great vibe to it. Now, I'll cover the hosts and the presenters in my highlights later on, because that was one of the highlights for me. And I do get that some people still want, the big cons, the big guests, and they want the all the autographs and the photos. But the more at conventions that you attend, the more you become part of the community. And there were quite a lot of new people last weekend, most of who I spoke to will be back next week because they felt like part of it. Now, a quick note on the Norbreck, because I couldn't not have my quick summary without mentioning the Norbreck. Yeah, it's not a great hotel. It's a diving place. Some bits aren't quite so bad. But the exhibition and the convention space, I do think is excellent, right? And I don't think it gets enough credit for that. The layout this year I thought was fantastic, and the main hall has got much better visuals and audio than anything we've had at a convention center. And the acoustics, even on the science stage in the hall where the vendors were, I heard everything, I saw everything. I've got no complaints about that, and we don't usually get that in the larger cons. But I am aware that I'm straying into highlights now, so I will end it there. That's my brief summary.
I enjoyed it, but like you say, it's a completely different beast than what it used to be.
Mm.
You've got a lot more time to do things. You've got a lot more time to think about things, and you've got more time to talk to people. You're not rushing off every 2 minutes going different places. I wrote my list out of what to do during the day, and I managed to get through most of it. Whereas before, you'd been missing things out because you didn't have time.
Yeah.
Because you were stuck in the queue for something else. Yeah, they're overlapping. I liked the Riker's Beard worked really, really hard. I really appreciated the work they did because it adds a lighter touch, more different entertainment into the mix kind of thing. You're not just there for the con, you're there for the fun as well. So when they say set phasers to fun, I agree with that, definitely. And I think that side of it should be expanded more. There should be more things going on. Like last year, we had Liam doing the music, and I went to that, and I really enjoyed that. And I would have liked to have done that again, or something similar. You know, the music of Star Trek.
Oh yeah, yes, I do remember that. Yeah, I remember that was a good one. Yeah.
But like I say, I think it's a different beast, and I think it's changing into something else,
Yeah, I agree.
which I quite like. So that's my take on it. Yeah.
Nice one.
The thing is, in some respects, I feel lucky that I didn't know it when it was in partnership with CBS, because my comparisons are just from one DT to another instead
Yeah,
of
means as well.
what they
Yeah.
used to get and what they get now. So it's almost like you don't know what you've got, if that makes sense. No, maybe not that. You don't know what you're missing.
Yeah.
But it's clear.
So,
It's clear from like what like Kaz was saying there, and I think others have said, and I kind of have said it, is the fact that I don't feel the conventions have got worse, which is what a lot of people are saying. It is less guess it's got worse. It's just different. It's become a different thing. Because I remember thinking and saying in Shuttle Bay 4 that it wouldn't surprise me if this is the last one, purely because I'm thinking, is it really feasible for it to keep going when it's so small? But as long as it becomes something else, it becomes more of a fan community run thing, it can still keep the energy. It can still be a really enjoyable weekend, and it'll just be it's just a slightly different thing. And I really enjoy it. Somebody said about it being quieter. I didn't even think about that, but it is less stressful because before, when you have loads of photographs, am I going to make it in time? I've got to be over here. I've got to be over there. And there wasn't that. And one thing that, let's be honest, with Star Trek fans, it does attract a lot of people who are on the fringes. So you do get a disproportionately high amount of people who are neurodivergent, for example, who love Star Trek, are really drawn to it. And you need to think about the fact that when it is a bit quieter, it probably is a bit more accessible for people who maybe do struggle with a lot of loud noise and a lot of people pressing up against you, so that's maybe, a good thing as well.
yeah, overall good convention. I mean, the main thing for me was you guys, hanging around with you guys, having a laugh in the afternoon, in the evenings. While some of the talks seemed interesting, I don't think they were as good quality as they probably have been. Like the subject matter. And I think there was one other talk that we went to about doing the Vulcan eyebrows. I think Leah did a really, really good job. I didn't know she did all the makeup and stuff, and she was a professor and whatnot. She's phenomenal. So the guests, obviously not as good as last year. With Anson pulling out, I think he would have been the one that made it. Although Chase and Martin were very good, a lot of time for them. Yeah, I think they were light on guests, notable guests anyway. I agree with you that for the sake of the convention, the spaces are really, really good. I liked the fact that they moved the photo opportunities out of that horrible corridor, which we all melted in last year, into the main hall. Much better. It's much easier to maneuver around the convention there. And the fact that they didn't have the activity room B, although it was at the back of the hotel, it wasn't right down the back in the tiniest corner, right at the end where it was last year. So I thought it was good that they moved a lot of stuff forward into more of the main hall. I didn't like the fact that they charge you for the opening ceremony. It seems to be that your ticket gets you less these days because you have to pay for more and more extra each time. Whereas I feel like there was a lot more free talks last year. I could be wrong, but that was my perspective. Hotel, yeah, it's shocking. It's got worse since last year. They've literally done nothing. I mean, the doors are just grim. So, and we ended up with a really crappy room. So next year we're going to go with a sea view just to ensure we're on the right side of the block. Yeah, I mean, the main thing for me was hanging around with you guys. There was a few more merch stalls than last year. Sci-Fi Quartermasters and the table that was next to them, they really upped their game with some of the merch. They come out with some really good, interesting stuff. I think I spent about fucking 220 quid on merch or something in the end, but I always go bananas at DT.
Hello.
Yeah, so, but it was good. It was nice. I enjoyed it, as I often do. But I think you guys are a big part of that. So, but yeah, that's all I've really got in terms of summary.
Well, I'll tell you what, Steve, you're taking piss there with 2 minutes.
Was I don't know.
For the benefit of Dee, Brush, and Jen, we're doing our quick round table, 2 minutes or less summary of what you thought of the convention, and then we'll go into detail.
Well, I absolutely loved it. It was a wonderful weekend.
spending time with mainly with you, obviously a lot of other friends as well throughout the whole weekend. I'm so happy about my starting Monopoly board. That will live longer in the memory, that 5-hour game by Shadow Bay 4. That was truly, truly amazing. Wow, thank you so much for playing. That was a great game. And the guests were good as well. And also I love what Steve said about how the photos were taking the big hole. So it's more space. It's more breathable. We want to bake it hot like last year. The merch was good as well. The people were great. I enjoyed Trinity's talk at Riker's Beard. And I thought Riker's Beard were amazing throughout the whole weekend. They were absolutely brilliant. They were a big part of why the weekend went so well. So I can't praise them high enough. I mean, that trial of Cisco was absolutely brilliant. It was so funny. I think Dan was with me. Steve was with me as well. I think as well. That was so good. I mean, and the chat with Colin Trinity was lovely as well, right at the beginning. So that was probably the only talk I went to. The whole weekend I went around. I spent time with my friends, walking around, just seeing all the amazing cosplays. Obviously, it's like that's what makes a convention. The only negative is the hotel. I gotta say the hotel is just this year I was more disappointed than last year. I was very disappointed. It's like it wasn't good at all. But my room was okay. Last year I was upgrading to a double room. That room was lovely. But this year I had just a single room, but just basic. I wasn't happy with it. There's some things wrong with it as well. Won't go into detail, but it could have been a lot better. I'm still going to go back next year. Next year is the 60th anniversary. An excuse to see all of you, all of my other Star Trek friends. I can't wait. And overall, I loved it. I've had a great weekend. So I can't wait to go back next year. That's my 2 minutes done, I think.
I'll go. If con was a bonus, I mainly went to see you guys. No,
Right.
seriously, the con was a bonus. The guests were getting better. You see, I didn't mind it this year because I like the little cons. Do you know what I mean? Where 2012 was absolutely
overwhelmed.
Yeah, but there was a lot of fans, but there was just a manageable. So you could go around people and actually have a chat. Last year it was dead busy because there was more fans than guests. Well, there always is. But but no, I enjoyed. The bonus was you guys. The Norbreck. You pay for what you get.
It isn't voted the worst hotel 10 years in a run.
I suppose we could refer to it as the award-winning Norbreck Hotel.
But that's how I like it. Yeah.
What, not too busy and not too
busy.
Loud.
Not too loud.
Not too hot.
Not too hot.
But it was But do you not think it was noticeably quieter than it was? It was wall-to-wall people last year. It was heaving, both the Saturday and the Sunday.
Yeah.
And the Saturday was the busier day this year, and then it dropped off a cliff on Sunday.
I didn't leave the hotel last year to go to the chip shop or the shops or anything like that. So this year when I went to the chippy, and it's a really good chippy, cash only though, where if you remember, when me and Brush went that year, who did we see in the chip shop? Only actual Patrick Stewart in the chip shop.
No way.
So Patrick Stewart in the chip shop. Unbelievable. Honestly, I should have said to him, do you fancy making a few quid, right? Just go over there. but he but then when you see the hotel from the back, it really does look like a prison. But yeah, anyway, so who's next?
I had a great. Well, there was loads of stuff. I mean, I'm glad the Triple Game came back.
This is a 2-minute summary. Oh, the loads of stuff's coming afterwards. We'll go into the vendors. We'll go into the guests. This is a quick summary. Did you like it?
Yeah, I loved it.
There you go. Kaz, I'm joking. Go on, D. You can expand on it more. Got 2 minutes.
D, you cried through most of it.
Yeah,
you did
I
cry
did.
a lot.
I did. This is the most teary. I mean, my blue hoodie on the Saturday night. By the end of that, it was full of all sorts.
You should have seen the slime on that when I was.
No, I loved it, but yeah, like Jed, I was more excited seeing you lot than I was about the guests or any of the activities. Because it's only once a year I get to see people like Rashid and Rachel. It's the one time that I really look forward to.
You made new friends as well.
I made quite a few.
Yeah.
That Mike's a legend, and he bless him.
Yeah.
I love him.
But hey, Brush and Francesca, John Joe, and Francesca. Right, we're just doing a quick round table, 2 minutes each, on a quick summary of what you thought of the con. We're not going into detail. And I mean, Vic, if you want to go, you were there. You're more than welcome to give us a quick 2 minutes.
Does.
Go on then, Vic. Come on.
A minute ago, she was refusing to do it because she didn't have a wristband. But what she didn't realise was I had about 40 of them left.
I had a great time. I love spending time with you lot. I like I like seeing Steve happy, relaxed, and I know he's like that around you lot. Yeah, no, I had a great time. Well, we didn't really do a talk, did we? We didn't go to anything.
Yeah, we did.
What did we go to?
Eyebrows.
Oh, we went to eyebrows, which you then wouldn't let me do on you. I still think there should be more stalls. There was about the same as last year, wasn't there? And there wasn't as many.
I thought there was more.
Was there?
There was
I don't know.
definitely more this year, yeah.
Yeah, I felt more.
Maybe in my head, I just think it should be bigger than it is, but I don't know.
It's a big room and they don't fill it. That's the problem.
Yeah.
No,
I
that's
had
a
it
good
even
thing. That's a
in a
good thing.
small-
Ramming it
I'm not
full of
saying it's
stalls.
not.
Yeah, I'm with John on that one. I do quite like because if it was busy and a load of people there, it's awful when you can't get to anything and it's just
Yeah.
you know.
Cardiff brush. When they cut Cardiff in half and put it in that one all. Anyway, yeah, sorry, Vic.
No, but that's it. No, I thought I thoroughly enjoyed myself, and I got my first autograph, so I'm happy with that. And I am becoming a nerd.
Hey.
Yes. Welcome.
Which
Do you know
autograph
what?
did you get, Vic?
Yeah, that's
Happy
important.
about
Go
that.
on, what autograph?
She's stupidly happy about it. Like fucking insanely happy for someone that don't know nothing about Star Trek.
I don't know anything about Star Trek.
You know who Scotty is?
Which
Well, I
one?
do now, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, don't
Whose autograph did you get, Vic?
Martin Quinn's.
There you go.
Hey.
Well done.
I think they'd call him Matthew Quinn. as
He's
well.
he's a nice guy.
He was nice.
Yeah, I think I like you a lot. I like
Your
you a lot.
bum's out the window. Sorry.
Well, I think, seeing as we've all given such an amazing Scottish accent, we ought to hear a genuine one now. Come on then, Sam. What did you think? In 2 minutes or less.
I
Alright,
don't
okay.
know.
I had a really different destination experience this year. So this was the first year I was officially part of Shuttle Bay 4 because I wasn't until after the con last year. So I had like a group of people to go back to, like a big group of people to go back to, not like the few people I actually knew. So that was a good start. I was quite involved this year. I spent nearly all day Saturday doing cosplay masquerade judging, which was interesting. And I had my talk on the Sunday morning. So I had a lot of extra things to be dealing with and organising and being part of this year. So I did miss a few things, and with the timetable changing here and there, it was a bit chaotic, and behind the scenes is a bit chaotic. But yeah, shout out to Riker's Beard for doing amazingly well over the weekend and managing stuff, because it was nuts. But other than that, I had a really good time, and thought I didn't have a good time doing the cosplay masquerade or the talk or anything. It was a little bit stressful on the Saturday. But yeah, no, I had a good time. But it was like seeing other Trekkies and talking to you guys and catching up with people and getting photos with other Trekkies, not just like the actors and stuff. Yeah. I spent a grand total of 4 hours on the Saturday just doing cosplay masquerade stuff.
Jesus Christ.
It was a bit nuts. And I had to like run in the middle of the pre-judging to go and get my photo with Martin Quinn because they changed the times. So it was a bit much on the Saturday for me.
Do you know what? I'm not going to lie. That was really frustrating, them flipping around with the
time.
Because there was it was just everything had moved. So you would have planned out your weekend, known known the times, and not necessarily planned it out to the hour, but you knew what days and what times your talks and your things you wanted to see were. And then all of a sudden they just went, oh, it's changed. Then you're sitting there going, oh crap, because like for instance, I don't know if they changed it, but like 2 things on at the same time, like the trial of
Benjamin Sisko.
That's it, Benjamin Sisko, and the Klingon talking thing. I would have liked to have done both.
I would have liked to have done the cocktails. I would have liked to have done Martin Quinn's coffee thing. I would have liked to have done Trial of Cisco. Could have been fun. And nearly all of them were during my judging shit on Saturday.
Yeah.
See you. So yeah, bit chaotic for me. There was with 3 of the guests pulling out, it was quiet on guests.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter who the guests were. It was just quiet on guests because 3 of them had pulled out. It really was. You could get round those tables pretty quick to get your autographs if you wanted everybody.
Yeah. I think Chase
did a power of work as well. Martin did great for the whole Saturday. He was there. He was chatting away to everybody.
Yeah.
They did really well, but I think like it was a bit quiet for guests.
But like I said, Chase is good. Chase is she does like
Chase did really well.
like a Marina does. You know, she knows that people like seeing her, and she makes people feel welcome. She takes time to speak to, you know, all the fans and everything. And I mean, as you know, I had a little Chase moment. And when I do my highlights, when we get to that, that'll be in my highlights. But yeah,
You mean when you start up?
she stopped me.
And he was lead.
all these people turning up and saying, "Oh, you're brilliant. I really like you," and he's going, he's almost like, "Oh, what? Really?
Me? Yeah.
You know, like me? Yeah." I think he learned a lot from Chase being there as well. I think he followed her lead quite.
His very first con in Glasgow, he was taking a big lead from Christina Chong, who was with him.
Yeah.
He's still learning cons as a thing.
It can't have taken that much of a lead from Christina Chong, because I didn't see him dance once, and she was like
when
this.
He was in Glasgow.
All right.
He's still a 31-year-old Glaswegian. Like, there's limits.
He was in the photos. He was actually everyone who had a photo. He shook their hand. He's like, "Oh, Greeno, thanks for coming here." And it wasn't one of those where you walk next to him. Exactly, yeah. And Chase did the same thing, and that it made everybody feel welcome. And if anybody brought like a prop or asked him to do a pose or anything like that, it was like, "Oh yeah, that's cool," and he was doing it. So it was, and he had. I mean, I remember saying to Brush, I says when Martin Quinn has this photo opportunity, the queue's gonna be massive, and it was like proper.
That was the line I had to skip because I was in the middle of prejudging and I had to beg to get in at the front, so I wasn't taking too long.
I love the queues though. The queues are a big part of it for me, 'cause it's not like queuing at Alton Towers where you just, you are. It sounds like you've got people around you, and you're like, "Oh, hi," and then the queue snakes around again. You see them again, hello again, and you get. I remember the first convention I went to. That's how I started to break the ice with a few people. Just I'd chat to a few people who are in the queue, and then later on in the con you start seeing them again. So the queues are, although usually queues are really shit. In a convention, particularly a Star Trek convention, where you're all there for the same thing, and you're all queuing maybe for the same person to get a photograph with, you've got that common interest. Naturally, you've got a talking point right there. What was I going to say? Who's next?
You're so British.
So British.
You literally just talked about how much.
Love a good queue. Love a good queue.
All that was missing was a mention about the weather at the end.
The weather. Yeah, I didn't see much of the weather because I went out. I didn't go out much. What was I going to say? Right, Brush, John, Francesca. Come on, Brush. Come on, Brush.
I thought it was a great con. I had a great time. Most of us have said we went to be part of Shuttle Bay 4. I did more in regards to activities than I did last year, where I did 0, and I enjoyed it. I thought you've said Chase already, but she was definitely a highlight for me. I heard her talks and the way she was leading it in the con, really. And then again, like you've all said, Riker's beard, I think, were amazing. They've just been able to have the photo shoots on their set, so they bring with them is really good for a group of fans. Yeah. So I thought the organisation was fine. He is dealing with certain space in the hotel, and I thought that was fine. I do agree that the timetable changed too much, and you had to constantly go back to it if you were going specifically for something, and it was a bit confusing. But it was nice to see Jason joining. I thought constantly there throughout it, walking around, stopping and talking if he wanted to. So I thought comparing it to last year, I agree. It's always going to come down to what actors they get to go for a lot of people. But when you go for other reasons, the hotel experience, for instance, I like the fact that the cons moved more back into that environment because it suits the con for me, where you can all be together constantly throughout the weekend. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. And if you're comparing it to last year, I thought it was as good. I personally probably got something more out of it because I did more this year than I did last year.
Yeah. Well done. Well done for keeping it under 2 minutes.
My good.
Bravo, bro.
When Patches comes on, right, we're going to have to get a gong out, aren't we?
Yeah.
I thought it was I thought it was a really good con. I'll be honest, I didn't do really any of the activities. And again, I know they might be coming on later, but shout out to Riker's beer, because I think this would have been absolutely terrible without them. There would have been nothing in that main hall to draw anyone in. Half the talks wouldn't have happened. It'd have just been dead space. And I went to primarily see you, and I do worry that with less guests, if they haven't have had those big guests announcements at the end, despite Anson Mount not coming, I don't think there would have been another one next year, Dan. I don't think it'd have been financially viable for them to do it, because they wouldn't have sold anything other than tickets, which is probably not that much. I quite liked the vendors hall this year. There seemed to be a lot more people doing actual Star Trek stuff other than just Funko Pops. And I really dislike Funko Pops. I know I've got the stupid ducks behind me, so yeah, horses and horses. But I think that was really nice to see actual Star Trek stuff like from the 90s out there. I mean, shout out to Kev selling his collection.
Definitely, yeah.
Good quarter of which is now up to my left, which you can't quite see.
The tallest is, I reckon Kev's taller because you're doing some weird stretching things. Stand normally. Looks fairly even. I think Kev edges it by a millimetre.
Whether it had been as good of a traders hall without him, because it's a different thing altogether. But I there were some other stalls sat out there with some good 90s Star Trek stuff. I felt the movie night. I know it's not the con, but that was us. But I thought that was quite a nice little end to the week. I just really enjoyed being with you, really, and everybody. There was a lot of people in fairly good costumes this year. And one thing I would criticise is I didn't like the lack of guests, because I didn't get any guest signatures or anything this year because I couldn't really be bothered, which meant that I didn't really go to the talks because I've already got Chase from the Destination Star Trek before. That's my timer going off, so. Yeah, no, good overall. Little bits of improvement to do, and descriptions of what the talks are. Sorry, that was my last point. Please describe what the talks are. Like, because I didn't know what the Enterprise one was. I was like, do I go to that or not?
Because it was a 5, it was.
And I asked at the ticket desk, and she went, it's about the Enterprise. I was like, brilliant. Cheers, love. Thanks.
Hello. What are you doing?
Yeah, just like a one sentence blurb of what everything else could have helped.
Yeah.
Not that my makeup talk was quiet, but it could have helped that as well.
Well, I even went on the when John Joe was trying to work out what it was, I even went on the Destination web page and like went through all their links trying to find a breakdown of but there wasn't even anywhere on the website because they'd sent it out in emails. So I was like, oh, they must have collated it all on the website, but they hadn't.
No, I do agree that would be good, and because you could have it, because obviously on the timetables, 'cause I spent a lot of time looking at the timetables, you could just have literally just a few words, discussion about blah, it would be good to have that, and they might get more people going as well then, because if you're not quite sure, you don't necessarily want to turn up for something that you might not dig,
Like, some of the titles are really clear, some of them are properly obscure.
Yeah.
And there's nowhere to find this information, like you guys said. That's probably turned me off of a few of the chats itself as well.
It is an easy fix though.
Vic looked at it and she was like, well, what's this?
And another thing I'd like to give a shout out to is the guy that does the scale models that was out there. I don't know if anyone talked to him. He was incredible. And he's doing a lot of scale models for the showrunners of Star Trek. So you don't often get to see castings of the real models.
Yeah, they were brilliant.
He took the time to talk to everybody, and I really appreciated that. I think it was really cool.
Yeah. Was that the guy with the Klingon bird of prey on there and everything?
The Vulture class.
Oh, Vulture class. Sorry. Yeah. I had a chat with him. That was really good. Yeah, because it was a bit hidden because you had to go through like that archway thing to get to him.
He was right next to the ladies' toilet, so I kept sort of
Yeah,
having
he
that.
told me that when I was talking. I said, "You going to people going past this week?" I said, "Yeah, all the way we're going to the toilets come past my store." I'm like, "Okay."
Not got overly obviously mainly come to for John Joe and to see everyone, and so it's so lovely seeing everyone. Really, really glad I went to Sam's talk. That was so interesting, and I like the just seeing you turn into a Cardassian, because obviously I see you before and I see you after, but to see the way you did it, I've that sort of art, it is just incredible to me. Really cool seeing a lot of people's costumes. I didn't really go to any of the other talks, but I haven't in previous years because there's nothing that normally overly that fusses me, but the makeup talk really, really did. And for me personally, I was so pleased how the Kira cosplay came together. I was so nervous, and I kept saying to John,
it was amazing.
Thank you. But right up until that morning, I was saying to John, I was like, I might put this all on, and I might just come down as like as a Dabo girl and just put one of my dresses on. I was so nervous about it and how I'd look and the reaction from people, but it was I was really, really pleased with it.
And people were asking you for the photos, weren't they?
Yeah. So I really, really enjoyed it, because a lot of it for me is the dressing up and the making it ahead of time. Like, I really enjoy that aspect of it. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed it, and spending time with everyone was so lovely. I don't get a lot of adult interaction, so to have a weekend is really, really nice.
John Joe's face.
Even with John Joe.
I really like the auction this year, but there weren't enough items, and I think vendors should be banned.
I've got, one bit that just reminded me of, right? A shout out to young Matthew Lally, right? The bearded guy, bald head.
Oh yeah.
I liked him.
Right, because I live a rather sad life. Yes, no, that's not the word. Insignificant existence. He came up, and you lot have heard this. He came up and he went, "You're Steve." Right, now, normally that means I'm being served with court papers. On this occasion, he didn't. And I was like, "Yeah." And he went on to explain how he watches our videos, and when he's had a tough day, he sits and he watches them, or he has them on in the background, and it cheers him up, and it feels like he's there with mates. And he said he binge watched all of our videos in the space of like 2 months, and he absolutely loves it. So that gave me a moment of celebrity. Albeit I nearly charged him a £5 for my signature, but I thought better of it. He made me feel like a celebrity for 5 minutes, so I made him feel included.
Until he also went, "Oh, but by the way, my day job is you've been served."
What was his day job?
I don't know.
Oh, right.
He works at the camera shop. He works at the camera shop.
Oh, yes, he does, because I was speaking to him about... Yes, he does, because I was talking to him about cameras. Yes, he works in a camera shop, because I was telling him that I'm a Lumix man, and I was showing him we were talking about that.
Lumix.
Lumix man.
What's you now, Dan? You showing him your Lumix.
I didn't get my Lumix out. It was up in my room. Right, what?
You didn't talk about your fanboy moment, Dan.
No, as in the highlights. We're going to do highlights now. So highlights. We've mentioned various hosts and presenters and things like that, and that's like Actually, no. Before I come to that, the main thing I need to mention actually, it genuinely is the first thing I've got on here, because it says Shuttle Bay 4 goes without saying. So it goes without saying, but I will say it, that obviously the biggest highlight for me is meeting up with you guys, because I think everybody pretty much said it. That's a big deal. And one thing I'd not really thought about until Sam mentioned it is the fact that having a group that you can go back to. So at any point in that convention, after walking around the vendors hall or going to a talk or a photograph or anything like that, I know if I just wander through, I will meet at least one or two of Shuttle Bay 4, and it just takes a lot of the stress out of it. For the first couple of times, when I went on my own, you get that moment where you just stood there and you feel a bit awkward, you don't know what to do, and everybody's like in groups, or it feels like that, and you can feel like a bit of an outsider. So it's just nice and relaxing knowing that you're part of a group, and no matter what happens, you're going to see someone. It tended to be Sam, to be honest. I was seeing Sam all the time. I hope you don't think I was stalking you, but I always seem to see Sam, but there we go. Which is a good thing. I'm not complaining. I'm not saying I saw too much Sam, but there we go.
Nice save.
So Shuttle Bay 4, that is the ultimate highlight. But the hosts and the presenters, I did feel were particularly great this year. Jamie Gallagher, absolute natural on stage. In the last retrospective for the previous convention, I remember saying I didn't really see much of his stuff, but I know the year before I saw a couple of his science talks, and I did, really enjoy those. And he's gone from being the science dude to pretty much being like the master of ceremonies.
We have been exploring strange new rocks. We've dived into exolinguistics, and now we're turning to the wonderful world of cosplay, where before your very eyes, a Cardassian will materialise.
I mean, for a living, I think he does a lot of personal engagement stuff. You can hire him to do,
He's
talks.
He's a science communicator.
Oh, there you go.
So he literally travels about the place talking about science.
Yeah, there you go. So, and you can tell that he talks a lot, to crowds, and is there to engage with people because he does it so naturally. And I can see Steve smiling, and I know why he's smiling, and I deserve this. In the last convention, i.e. not the one we've just been to, but the one before, when Steve had a photograph taken with Robert Duncan McNeill, and there was a lull because they were doing something with the camera, he filled time by saying to Robert Duncan McNeill, and let's just be completely honest, he turned around and he says, "Oh, hi, I'm a really big fan." But obviously, because I was there, I've embellished on that, and I've got Steve going, "I'm your biggest fan." And when I was talking to Jamie Gallagher, 'cause I saw him in the corridor, I said, "Oh, Jamie, can I just say, I just thought you done an amazing job, and the way you interviewed Chase Masterson was really good. I really enjoyed it. It was really natural. You didn't come across as somebody just reading questions. You were bouncing off what she said, and And Steve heard me saying all that, and as he went through the door, he's giving it all, and I'm like, but it was genuine. I wasn't
Can I
blowing.
just say,
Yeah.
that had better be in the edit.
That will be in the edit, don't worry. That will be in the edit. I've put things right.
I just want it clear.
I've been giving you stick
You've berated me for a
for a
year,
year, exactly.
and all of the others have joined in their own little moments.
Does it stop now then?
And now we know the truth.
Oh, it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. Remember, perception is reality. I've told you to be eating pizza for a naked man story, haven't I? If not, then I'll save it for another time. But that's become reality, and that never happened. But anyway, Jamie Gallagher was great. As well as that, you've got Ian Shaw, aka Squee. Again, another natural on stage. Now, it would be remiss of me not to mention the fact that a member of Shuttle Bay 4 whom I love very much and is an absolutely amazing person, is a beautiful person internally, obviously is hideous externally. I'm joking, but I know he'll watch this later on. May or may not, under the influence of alcohol, come across as a bit of a dick at one moment, and I hope that Ian didn't find the circumstances unpleasant. And it's certainly not indicative of Shuttle Bay 4, but I am assured and that reparations were made, fingers crossed. But anyway, I'm mentioning him because he's an actor. That's what he does. He does a lot of acting, and you can tell that 'cause when he's on stage, he's got a good command of the audience. He kind of knows what the audience are kind of like feeling. He knows how to milk the audience to get the best reaction, and he was really good as well. He did a talk on stage. I'm not quite sure what the talk was because I miss a lot of the talks, and I tried to look on the timetables, but they've all gone now, and I didn't take a photograph of them. It was about aliens, and he did this thing about blind date, and you kind of had to be there, but there was a joke about taking out the horter, and it went into blind date, and it was genuinely hilarious, right? And it's one of those moments where I found myself laughing, right, when I'm watching it. It was really good. He was brilliant. It's got a really quite a cool look to him as well. He looks like he should be on stage. He always wears his like cool coats. It's got a bit of a look to him. Speaking of great stage presence, Alan Window. Alan Window is always a big presence at the conventions. He always seems to dress in he's done some quite interesting cosplay over the years, and so it does it well because sometimes you can't tell it's the same person. But he was the guy who dresses, tea Earl Grey hot, the Earl Grey tea bag, and he was getting people to chant tea Earl Grey hot, and everyone was getting into it. And I don't know if he does acting or not, but it feels like he does because he's got a great voice, he's got gravitas on stage, he projects. He was really good, and after talking about Alan Window, that naturally brings me on to Riker's beard. Everybody's mentioned it. They were absolutely superb. I know that the Trekkie girls had to pull out because I think there was some sort of family emergency, and I think they kind of filled the void. And I can only imagine that their weekend must have been absolutely knackering. Because like Sam said, Sam was involved in some of the talks, and you gave a talk, and it took up, a lot of time. And the stuff that they do must take a shit ton of preparation. You don't just rock up and do it. And I've not even mentioned the fact that they bring the they've got the sets and everything, which is a huge focal point, and people are taking photographs of those all the time, and they look absolutely superb, and they must have to do some sort of maintenance after every convention. Do you know what I mean? Because you're naturally going to get a bit of wear and tear transporting it, people sitting on it, people taking photographs of it, and so massive shout out to Riker's beard. Rashid mentioned the trial of Benjamin Sisko at the end. That's a highlight for me because I wasn't going to go to it. The only reason I went to it was on Sunday, my energy was a bit low. I was absolutely knackered. Rashid and Patches were going to this Riker's beard thing. And I'm like, sod it, I'll go as well. I had no idea what it was about. I do remember they did a trial of Catherine Janeway a year or so before, but I didn't attend that, so I wasn't quite sure what it was about. And when it was obvious it was going to be like a bit of a comedy play about the trial of Benjamin Sisko, I was a bit concerned because dramatics done poorly is excruciatingly embarrassing to watch, and comedy that doesn't work, if it falls flat, is just, it's almost painful to be part of. But I needn't have worried. The performances were absolutely superb, and I literally was crying with laughter. It was genuinely brilliant, and I'm so pleased I went to it. And for those who weren't there, because I think it was only Rashid of this group that were there, it was the trial of Benjamin Sisko. I'm not going to go into the details because hopefully they'll do it again. And oh, you were there, were you, Kaz? Oh yeah, you were. Yeah, of course you were. Of course you were. Sorry about that. But it was brilliant, right? And the thing is, this is the sort of thing that it has to be written. It has to be redrafted. You get people putting input to make sure that the jokes work. It gets acted. This isn't something that's thrown together. Hours and hours and hours have gone into that, and it was absolutely superb to watch. I think Patches was worried it might not be my thing, because when I said I really enjoyed it, he's like, oh, I'm glad you like that. I was a bit worried that it wouldn't be your thing. I said, look, honestly, if I'd paid to watch that at a theatre, I'd have been well chuffed with it. It would have been worth the money. Bit of a niche thing. I can't imagine it happening because you'd have to be really into Star Trek to get it all. But I really enjoyed that. I am nearly done, by the way. So those presenters and hosts, they are a massive asset to the convention. I think Jason Joyner knows that, and I hope they will continue to be part of the convention. I suspect they will, because that seems to be the direction it's going in, and I'm completely happy with that. Completely happy with it, because I enjoyed, the fact that they bring so much energy. They really, add to the vibe, and they are kind of like the lifeblood of the convention now. Those hosts that I mentioned. A couple more people. People have mentioned Kev Rhino. Not only was he selling stuff, but we had a good laugh with him constantly. We saw him on an evening as well at the bar. He was sound. It was great to meet Kev. Sam as well, doing the talk. It was great to see a member of Shuttleway 4 up there on stage. Absolute natural there with Serena. I really enjoyed that talk. And I did genuinely find it interesting. And like Francesca said, seeing the magic happen there on screen was, it was a joy to behold. Another person to mention is Sid Art. Sid Art was there at the previous convention, but I didn't see Sid there at the time, to be honest. But they've been creating, and you must have seen it on Facebook, that like montage of an image a day. And I think they've done, I'm not sure if it's 399 or 400 images, little Star Trek images, one a day, I think, since before the last convention. And Shuttle Bay 4 has got an image on there. I remember seeing it last year, and it was great to see that. And it was great to see Sid, because I know they've put a lot of effort into that, and seeing that grow on Facebook, it was nice to see that that artwork in real life. And I got a duck from Sid, because they were giving out ducks.
It's back there somewhere.
I think I was with you actually when I got mine. I can't remember. So yeah, it was great seeing Sid. The only two other things I've got are Chase Masterson. I had a photograph with Chase Masterson. I was wearing that shirt with all the Deep Space Nine heads on, and because she asked everybody the name when she takes a photograph with you, she knew my name. And as I'm walking away, she went, "Oh, Dan, come back a minute." She says, and she said to the photographer, "Can you take another photograph? But this one's for me." And she says, "Do you mind if I take a photograph of myself?" I'm like, "No, of course not." She wasn't bothered about me. It was the shirt, and so she took a picture of of her with me and the shirt. And then later on, when I saw her walking back to her little autograph desk, and she was clutching my photograph, and I'd like to think that she's back home now, and it's got pride of place on a fridge or something like that.
Yeah, you'll cut out the shirt's fine.
And she's put Rom's face in there. But but the final moment, and somebody else mentioned it. Steve, you mentioned Matthew. Matthew and a couple of other people came up to me at the convention and says, "Oh, I watched Shuttle Bay 4 and I really enjoy watching it." I must admit, it was really quite. Because I thought I'd be like, "Oh my God, it's a bit cringe," but it wasn't. Honestly, the fact that somebody came up and says, "I've watched it, I really like it," and the feedback they gave was what we were after. They said, "I like watching it because it feels like a group of mates just sitting around having a drink, talking about Star Trek. It's kind of relaxed and it's humorous." And I'm like, "Nice one." The fact that I know not a lot of people watch it, that's never really been what we've been about. But if a few people watch it and they get something from it, then that's brilliant. And if you're watching it right now, Matthew, live long and prosper.
Yeah, baby.
And go and sell some cameras.
Bring me the head of your father!
And that's basically my highlights in a nutshell. It's always on my desk. I don't know why, but I love playing with it.
Oh, God.
I can guess Rashid's highlights, right? It's everything.
Rashid, quick question. Did you love it all? Was it great?
I loved it.
Oh, Rashid, you are familiar. You are familiar with the running joke we've got about you that everybody knows Rashid, right? And it is true because you'd be walking through the hall and you'll even right when there was some sort of it was Sam's makeup talk when you put your hand up to ask a question. And I think Serena went, "Oh, hi, Rashid." It's just like literally everybody knows
Yes,
Rashid.
it's still in the video, yep.
It's still there.
And it
yeah.
says across the bottom, everyone knows Rashid.
Do you know what? We're starting to think, Rashid, the guests actually come to see you.
Everyone just remembers me. I like to think I'm a friendly, positive person. I remember things about people as well and appreciate that, you know? And I just got positive energy running through my veins all the time. You know me guys now, it's just the way I am. And if I can put a smile on somebody's face, lift them up a bit, it's worth it. For me, it generally makes me happy. Seriously, it does. So a lot of people remember. That's another big highlight. People come up to me and say, Rashid, we meet at last. It's like, wow, brilliant. It's like, because I'm telling people for the first time in person, they knew me online on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, and they met me for the first time. It's like, and they're generally happy to see me, and I'm happy to see them as well. So, wow, at last we meet in person. We speak online for like years and years and years, and we meet for the first time. Like I met this guy called Nick Daly on Saturday, I think it was. We've been friends online for years and years. We never met in person. And we met in person. We had a lovely chat. It was fantastic. It's like, seriously, warmed my heart talking to the guy. It's like brilliant. And everyone, really, speaking to everybody. My biggest highlight, obviously, was spending time with you. Seriously, Shadow by 4 has become my other family now. Seriously, I love you guys all so much. And like Dan said, like Sam said, it's just to have somewhere to go to after walking around the con. I got a little safe space there to come to you guys when I want to sit down, relax, and love having dinner with you guys, having breakfast with you guys every day. It's like brilliant, you know. The Monopoly game was unbelievable. Can I bring my Monopoly board, please, to Destination? Can we play one game? That'd be that epic. I have no idea. My wildest dreams that it would be like that.
Show me the money!
Like
5 hours. 5 hours and 5 minutes it went on for.
Unbelievable. We finished about 1:30 in the morning. It was incredible. It's like unbelievable. That's going to live long in my memory. And I really thank you guys again for playing my game. To have no one to play Monopoly with at home. So all of you just embraced it. We're going to make the time to play one game. Oh, it's fantastic. So I'm never going to forget that. I like the talks. I only went to 2 talks. I went to the talks with Colin Trinier. I really enjoyed that. It was really good. I like Colin Trinier. He's my favourite character from Enterprise. That was a lovely chat they had with him. And obviously, another big highlight was obviously watching Riker's beard throughout the weekend. But that Charles Cisco was so funny and brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. So I had Dan, Patches, and Kaz next to me, all 4 of us together for Show by 4. It was such a great. We loved every bit of that. It was so funny. I was laughing so much. My tummy was killing me. It was so funny. It was so brilliant. And a big DS9 lover. Cisco's my captain. Every bit of it was brilliant. So I can't speak highly of it. And I'm going to say Richard was a brilliant Cisco. How good is Richard as Cisco?
He nailed the delivery. Honestly, it was just brilliant. Yeah.
Oh my God, that was so good. I loved it. I mean, the weekend went really quickly. I know we got there on Thursday, but literally for me, the weekend went really quickly. Saturday was quite busy, I know. Friday was relatively busy. Sunday was a bit quiet, but I left Sunday about after the Riker's bid, after the Cisco's trial. Yeah, I left after the Cisco's trial, so that was about just before the Star Trek quiz was about to start. So about in the afternoon. But it's been an amazing weekend. I loved spending every minute of it, seeing people, just talking Star Trek with other people. Like I met Michael queuing up to see Martin Quinn. That's when I met Michael for the first time. He was literally behind me as I was queuing up to see Martin Quinn. And he said to him, he introduced himself. And I said, I spoke to Shadow by 4 last night. I had a great evening with you, all of you. And I see your videos. I echo what Dan said. He's such a lovely guy. He's such a lovely guy. I like him so much. And we had a lovely chat with him. So it's like things like that. Just really make you feel so good about being a Star Trek fan, meeting other fellow Trekkies, you know. And anyway, and the cosplaying. I mean, my friend Serena, I mean, she's such a brilliant cosplayer. I mean, my God, the cosplayers there. I mean, I love it. I can't get enough to watch his cosplayers. The effort they put into it, how they look. I mean, the Moopsie. I mean, Anna's Moopsie was unbelievable. God, it's incredible. But still, it's just...
Anna's performance as Moopsie was fantastic.
Oh my.
That was really good.
Oh, I missed that. Oh, but I was like blown away. Wow, Martin Quinn was great. He's such a lovely guy. I said to him, I think you're great. I think you're great at Scotty. I love Scotty. He said, oh, thank you, Rashid. So it just makes such a difference just to whether interact with you a bit as well. Chase Marshall always asks for your name, like Dad said, and she's so loving and caring and so kind and so sweet. Many guests take a picture with you, you walk away. Don't give you a second glance, but it makes such a difference when they interact with you, even just for a second.
Yeah.
It means so much more, you know. Colin Tryon is great.
They're the memories that stick with you. So, for instance, the last year at Birmingham, like with JG and all of that, they were moving you in and out so quickly. Yeah, with the whole Chase and Martin thing, you really felt like they were there for us. So when you had the photo, and it's like she asked my name, because I've not got many experiences with having photos other than the previous couple of years. And it was a bit surprising when she went, "What's your name?" Thought she was going to serve me with court papers. Yeah.
And Steve, seeing your face with your mini warp core was another big highlight for me. Your happiness.
You know what? I haven't touched it since.
I was so happy.
I've genuinely never been so excited about a single item in my life.
Fantastic.
I was full spectrum going for it. I was like, oh my God, this is my mecca.
I think all of us at Shadow Boy 4 shared your happiness. Seriously, we did. It was fabulous to see that. I remember that so much. My pleasure, buddy. That's overall. Thank you all for making my weekend so special. You know, all of you mean so much to me, and it's been a brilliant weekend. So I can't wait till next year. Whoever's going to be there. So that's my highlights, guys, and thanks very much again.
Cheers, Rashid.
Don't worry about that. We're there.
Anybody mind if I go next?
Go for it.
Whoa. Did Steve like it?
Yeah!
Fucking obvious. Yeah, no. For me, and I think this is the same for a lot of us. A lot of us don't have a large group of friends outside of us. And I know a few of us, we've had these conversations, and they've said that, you know, Shuttle Bay 4 is your main source of friendships, your main friendship group. For me, most definitely, I can't stand people. They annoy me, but for whatever reason, you lot seem to be the exception to the rule, which is perplexing and, you know, I'm grateful for at the same time. Yes, my walk call was a massive big deal. So again, John Joe, thank you. If it meant pizza. No,
Listen, it might be a 3D model, but when it comes to like,
so I would genuinely bear you a child for this. I tell you, fucking amazing. We were quite dominant in terms of single groups of friends.
No, he's not. The loudest, noisiest.
I love the fact that when we're at this con, it's the one day of the year or the one weekend of the year that absolutely everybody can make it. You know, we all clear our schedules for this weekend.
Yeah.
You know, we have little meets throughout the year where some people can make it, but not everyone. And this is the one time when every single one of us is there without fail, which I love. And I love the fact that like Rashid said, we're always manned at the bar area somewhere. There's always at least one of us there. Yeah, I love that aspect of it, you know, and it's the one place where you can bang on about Trek and nobody gives a monkeys, or somebody actually says, do you know what, that's a good point, but have you thought about this?
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, it was really good. You guys obviously top. There was lots of really good bits, like we said, the merch. There was a lot more to choose from. There was ships galore there. I was like you know, I bought space stations and ships, and I love that aspect of things. But there was also, it was good that there was unique things like the Riker bag, yeah, which I thought was a really nice touch. It was a bag, it had lots of goodies in it, you know, and you knew where it all came from and what the reference was. So you had unique stuff like that, but then you also had the traditional stuff that you're used to collecting, like the photos, the print, you know, Kev with his stuff. I think he must. I would dearly love to know how well he did.
Yeah, I'd love
because
to
the
know,
amount of gear he shifted is phenomenal. I mean, and Patchy's bought like 2/3 of it.
Steve,
And John got the rest.
Steve, apparently he got that much money, he could buy a bigger house, and now he's gutted.
Yeah, we're all going to get a friend request from him asking for his stuff back.
You can have everything but the bag.
Today we've got a medal ballot. We'll start me off at £5. Anybody £5? £5 over there. £5. £10. Sold to Vic. £2.50.
But no, it was really good. There was loads of unique stuff, so I really liked that aspect. Like I said, some of the talks were good. I didn't get to see very much of it, and I think part of the problem with that was the whole schedule shake-up. The other thing with that was that there was no description, so you're not likely to go to something if you don't know what it is, for fear of missing out. I knew I could hang around with you guys in the bar area and have a laugh, rather than go and sit in there and then find out it's something really shocking, because you always feel weird in the middle of a talk getting up and walking out. It feels really rude.
Yeah.
So, but I learned how they do the Vulcan eyebrows, which is really good. I'm going to have a right old go at that. Get myself some Prick Stick and some talcum powder.
Steve, can I just mention, right, when I was walking around the vendors hall on the, I can't remember which day it was either Saturday or the Sunday. It's difficult because normally the Saturday's really busy, but it wasn't actually that busy either of the days, the vendors hall. And I saw this guy and I said, I love your eyebrows. And he says, I was in the eyebrow talk. And he was the guinea pig or the model, whatever you want to call it.
That they did the test on.
Exactly, and he was telling me about the prick, because I wasn't there. He was telling me about that prick, and they did look amazing.
So, because apparently Leah is like a professor in makeup and
she actually
like
lectures in
3 different universities.
Oh wow, that's brilliant!
Yeah, no, that's her job. Yeah, she's like extremely qualified.
I mean, she put up a list of her qualifications and what she does, and it's like, oh my God, you should be a bloody celebrity here. I don't know about anything else, because you really know what you're talking about. And she asked for a volunteer to come up so that she could demonstrate how to do it. And that guy that you were talking about was the guy that went up there, and she did it while she was showing us. So it was really good. I don't know if it was his first con or not, or something, but it was quite unique for him. So yeah, I mean that was really good. I really enjoyed that. Hotel room was a bit crap. So yeah, I picked up loads of merch. Got to hang around with you guys, which is sort of the point of it, really. Full of laughter, full of fun. What more could you possibly want? The guests, like you said, brilliant. Connor Trinier. His cues were nowhere near what Chase and Martin were. They mopped the floor with him, and he didn't really want to be there. You could tell that by the closing ceremony and everything else that he did. And it was just like, I'm here, whatever.
I didn't really attend a lot of talks. The few I did attend, I thought were brilliant, and I should have done more. But I've heard a few people say that Connor Trinier was a little bit mardy.
He's been said that he's been grumpy, wasn't he? And wasn't interactive at all.
He literally, like the closing ceremony, they got each of the celebrities up. Guests, all right, yeah, we'll do that. They got them up, and each one of them was gracious in their own way. You know, they were like, thanks for a great con. You guys have done really well. And essentially, Connor just rocked up and went, yeah, it was great. Bye. And fucked off.
Oh, right.
Yeah. He was really short with it.
But actually, he did want to fuck off, but they made him stay because he had to announce it.
Yeah.
He had to announce the winner or something, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he said, oh, really?
Yeah.
But then he was
And then
fairly
what they
funny
did-
when he was like, oh, you've won the Tribble and a car.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
one.
he thought he was being funny.
That's legally binding in the UK. Cheers, Scott.
We did. I just enjoy being with everyone, and just the whole experience, the dressing up, the seeing the costumes, you know, the getting photos. The woman that did the lava monster,
The Horta.
costume,
Horta, yeah.
really.
That was-
We saw her get it out of her car.
Yeah.
Right. And I think Patches and I were outside having a smoke. Vic was there as well, and we were having a smoke, and she walked up with it on her back.
Yeah, it had a whole backpack structure thing underneath it.
And I was like, oh, can we get a photo? And she literally went up the steps and she crawled down, laid on her front, and did the whole fucking movement.
Hold on, lads.
thing.
There was like 10 of us there all shouting, hey!
Yes.
Pain!
Pain! Yeah, and it was,
She was a very deserving winner of the cosplay competition. She deserved that.
4 of us.
I think she's called Emma. I made a note because I remember.
Yeah, she had purple hair, didn't she?
Yes, she did. Yeah.
For her Boimler costume.
Yeah, she looks a little boy. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, that was phenomenal. The creativity involved is just mad. It was really good also to see Maria again, because she's the one that introduced me to everybody, mainly Brush. And we were talking about costumes. She got her wig hair stuck in her fan while we were in the queue.
Oh, I wonder what you were going to say then.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? We were standing in the queue for Martin Quinn.
Yeah.
Right. And we chatted a little bit, like you do when you're standing in a queue. And I was facing the other way. And all of a sudden she went, Steve? And I looked around and she went, yeah. She went, I'm stuck. And she got this hand fan and she'd got the wig pulled up in the mechanism. And she said, she just looked at me, she went, could you separate me, please? So there I am in the queue for Martin Quinn, standing there trying to tease this curly brown hair out of a fan. It was very peculiar. It was good to see her, because I only ever get to see her at DT. I love her dearly, and it was lovely to see her with her daughter Autumn as well. That was really nice, because she'd made Autumn's costume as well as her one that she'd made years ago, which I thought was brilliant. And she nagged me about why I hadn't continued sewing after I tried last year, and then proceeded to tell me that I needed to do a project between now and then next year.
Like I said, con was a bonus. Didn't really do a lot of the con. Went to Chase Masterson's talk about charity work. It was mainly nice meeting people like Matthew and Steve with his dinosaur.
Steve with the dinosaur.
Steve!
He's becoming a bit of an institution at the cons.
Same guy last year who's going around with the alien popping out.
Yeah, the alien was great.
Yeah.
He enjoys it. I think he does entertainment, and he's got a background in acting. He's been in Coronation Street, and he's done. But that he is a performer. He enjoys entertaining, and you can tell that. I'm not sure if he does entertainment still or not, because I know he did talk a bit about stuff. But he is a character, and it's always great to see him, because he comes around, he says hello to everybody, and his dinosaur was, it was amusing. It was good to see, and
it was lovely.
That's one thing I like about going to the cons again and again and again, because you start to see familiar faces, then you start to see you recognise the characters, and somebody will come over, like him, and you have a laugh with him, and straight away like, oh, I remember your alien from last year, and next year we'll be like, oh, where's your dinosaur? We'll see what he has next year.
Well, yeah, the con was about you guys mainly. I thought it was going to, like the rest of the season, I thought it was going to die. I thought it was going to be the last one. But to tell you the truth, I seriously enjoyed this one, because it was quieter. There was more vendors. We spent a lot of time in the vendors area. We spent a lot of time talking and having a laugh with people. I actually had an American chap come over to me and ask me where he could get the Shuttle Bay 4 hoodie I had on. And I told him we were a YouTube podcast. He said, "Oh, what's it called?" I went,
Shuttle Bay 4.
I thought what was really funny was outside when Connor Trinneer came in. Patches.
This is at 2:00. Anson Map is just cancelled. We're nipping out back for a butter. We've got out, and Connor Trinneer and Chase Masterson are coming in on the back door entrance by the pool. You know where we are, don't you?
Jed, before you give that, you need to give context of this, right? What was Patches saying about Connor Trinneer up to this point?
He's shit.
He was slagging him off because he cancelled last year.
He won't come. He won't turn up.
He won't turn up. He's shit.
And he kept saying, I'm not going to go to any of his talks. I'm going to boycott him, blah, 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 blah.
He stood outside. He shook his hand. No,
the man hadn't even entered the venue.
No one took a picture, which really pissed back. He said, no one will believe me. I said, I saw it. I'm not taking a picture of it, Judas.
Do you know what? Right, it was at that exact point while he was talking to Connor, right, that Matthew came up and spoke to me, because we were out there as well. And I finished that conversation and Connor had walked off. And then all of a sudden, Patches turns around to me and he goes, what? I was talking to him for like 10 minutes and you guys didn't get a photo. I thought, I didn't fucking see him, because I had my back to him.
He grabbed me by the hand and he said, you're the highlight, you're the headliner. What?
Has Anson not turned up? And he went, no.
His face went, has Anson not turned up? And he went, no.
What he should have said is, no, Naz, you're it.
Yeah, but John Joel, that would have worked if Chase Masterson wasn't next to him.
Yeah.
It was a highlight. It was, just seeing you guys. The hotel's the hotel. I can't complain about the hotel. It's cheap and cheerful. You get what you paid for.
I've stayed in places that were like £19 a night, and they had a working toilet and a working window. That's all I asked for. A working toilet and a working window.
I went at the bottom of the window fell off, Jed. It is 50-50 because the room we stayed in last year was actually, it wasn't nice, but it was totally fine.
Yeah, it was
That
fine.
was great last year.
Slept in there for a few hours.
Another highlight was meeting a fan like Matthew and Kev. It was really nice because in meeting Matthew, basically, it's what Dan did this for. It was just a group of friends having a laugh and a joke. None of that commander and first officer. No, we're not like that. And it was nice. And he sat with us and he had a laugh with us and he had a drink with us. I gave him a hug every time. I called him fucking William.
I'm crap with names, and I thought I'm going to remember his name. And as I walked away, I'm like, Matthew, Michael. No!
Where'd you get William?
I called him William for a day.
Russians were calling him William all last night.
I called, because what's his name? He went William, so I was like, hey, William.
Do you know what? He was top. Another thing was, speaking of people,
and then in the middle,
Mike. Now, I saw Mike last year, and I didn't really speak to him. I sat and I spent quite a lot of time over the weekend chatting with Mike, and he is lovely.
Oh, Mike Arnold. Oh, yeah, I always call him Mike Arnold. Oh, Mike's brilliant, yeah.
Absolutely top bloke. He's
Mike's
got
lovely.
Stories.
He's one of the OG conventioners.
Yeah. I spent a lot of time chatting to him and got to know him, and I think he's absolutely brilliant. I got so much time for him.
Oh, no worries. I was going to say, what is it you do in the band, but I can see in the background.
Just before I went to Destination, I auditioned for a band as a backing singer and rhythm guitarist, and I got a phone call on my way to Destination saying they actually want me to front the band.
Oh, wow.
And their first gig is on the 14th of September, and it's a festival. So,
no pressure.
That's either a guitar or that wall's miles away, and it's a ukulele. I can't quite figure it out.
This is my Star Trek guitar.
You got Star Trek guitar.
Hey. Richard, I tell you what, I'll just give you a quick overview of who we are and what we do, right? We're Shuttle Bay 4, like, even got a cup with it on when I get it right way around. A few years ago, at conventions, we just kind of met up, and a lot of us were, I suppose, I'll just use the L word, loners, right? And so we kind of gravitated towards each other and formed a bit of a group. And over the years, we kind of just get together and we decided that we would meet up online every Thursday. We'd usually pick an episode of Star Trek to talk about, or a subject or something like that. It's our way of just keeping the convention going throughout the year.
The post-con blues are real.
Exactly. Well, This is our way of dealing with the post-con blues, I suppose, and it's worked well. We've been going for 2 years now. This is our 103rd meeting, actually, for anybody who's counting. It's only me, but it's our 103rd meeting. So we've been going a while now. That's who we are. There.
I'll tell you all about Riker's beard and how it came to plan, but I don't have to because you can read about it.
Oh.
In the Riker's beard annual.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it was meant to be going to print before the convention.
Yeah.
And then it was meant to be going to print on the 1st. But the book vault, the ones that are printing it, they've been hit by a DDoS attack.
Is that denial of service?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Cyber security.
It's been delayed, but you can read all about it in the fabulous Riker's Beard Annual.
Several days later.
How long have you been going then, Riker's Beard?
Since 2012, Dan.
2012, okay. So was it specifically for the 2012 convention, or was it pre that?
Well,
again, you can read about it in the...
But long story short is that, before 2012, there hadn't been any convention since 1995, only specific Star Trek ones. And there hadn't been social media at that time. So before this one, everyone was terribly excited and meeting each other online and having lots of conversations and meeting other Trekkies, which hadn't really been a thing before. And we all sort of formed individual ships because they were the hotels and we were the custom house. But after that, we rebadged to something cooler.
Yeah. No, it's cool. I mean, one thing that really stands out about Riker's Beard, and I'd like to think it's one of the elements that we kind of have, is the fact that you obviously take your Star Trek seriously, but not too seriously.
Not that serious.
And you don't take yourself seriously. And you kind of, I mean, you stamped that clearly because you are USS, Riker's beard, which itself is obviously a humorous thing. You've got the logo, and so straight away you kind of know where you're at. And there you go, there's the logo. And I've got a set of your pins. In fact, when you messaged me the other day, James, on Facebook, I don't know if you saw, but when it shows you the chat history, the previous message is from a few years ago at Birmingham saying, "Oh, I'm at the bar. Come and find me. I've got your pins," something like that. But yeah, I've got the full set. Has anyone else got the full set of Riker's beard pins?
Not pins, but actually on our little girl Esri, on her pram is a Riker's beard sticker from when we met you at Birmingham, and it's still on there on her the Riker's beard sticker on Esri's pram.
Yes. In addition to that, we have the Riker's beard com badge. Have you got yours handy, Richard?
I've seen one. Yeah.
I haven't, but I do have the much rarer Riker's beard contraceptive foam that we did for a while.
Yeah. So, Richard and James, are you guys knackered then? Because, we're not blowing smoke up your ass. We're not saying it because you've joined us, right? It's not a case of 10 minutes ago we were slagging you off and now we're not. Tonight, we've obviously been talking about the convention, doing a bit of a retro, what we thought. And when we talked about our highlights, literally every single person, mentioned Riker's beard. And we'll mention the fact that you guys have been running around, like blue ass flies. You've been doing loads of talks. And like I said, you're not just rocking up and doing it. There's a lot of prep work involved and things like that. So you must be knackered. I mean, what do you get to see much of the convention? Because you're always, it seems to be on stage doing stuff.
So this year, very much, we're normally very professional and very prepped. And we were very prepped for the stuff we were going to do. But sadly, because the Trekkie girls had to go home due to family emergency, we had to take over their panels, one of which I think we prepped for was 10 minutes before panel started. So the truth is, most of it was unscripted this year. We had to wing a lot of it. In particular, we were supposed to interview Conor Trenier once. I ended up interviewing him 3 times. I got the trip on trip. I interviewed him every day. And of course, asking questions every day. So a lot of it was unscripted. And could we enjoy it? Yeah, it was that much running around and stress. I think I was in bed both main nights by 9:30, which, I mean, I normally go to bed early, but that's early evening for me. So it was a bit too busy for my liking. James managed a good session in the bar, though, didn't you, chap?
I was up every night because I'm always last man standing. I'm very proud of that.
I think Bruce might give you a challenge.
No. Chris, because there was one night I went to bed at 4:01. I remember it well, 'cause it's 4:01. And I remember the next day, Chris did a video of him on his own in the bar about 5:30 in the morning. And I don't know how he managed to.
5 a.m.
I would like to say that the biggest help that we had of the weekend was with the cosplay with Sam and that, because we were fucked. I mean, no if or but. We were absolutely screwed because we had no time. James had done a load of prep and bits and pieces, and we had in our heads what we were going to do. But then all of a sudden, when the Trekkie cards cancelled, we didn't have any time to do it. So if it wasn't for you, honestly, we'd have been screwed. Thank you.
Do you know what was really good this year was having you guys there, because I know like last year you weren't, and I know there was a lot of people that said, you guys were missed. Last year it was, and you guys do bring not just the props, but you do bring that extra bit with you. And I know for you guys, it's just as much of a trek up the country as it is for, say, me down in Essex. It's a 5-hour drive.
Well, just Kent. We're at the far end of Kent.
Margate.
Do you say Margate? Bloody hell.
Jesus.
Wow, that's.
No, Jesus doesn't live here anymore.
If you draw a line from Blackpool to anywhere in the UK, you could not get further away. Well, mainland UK, you couldn't get further away than us.
Well, Steve, that is incredibly kind of you to say, and tailing off to what I was saying before, probably the best bit of the convention was the people who came up to us in the bar at breakfast and in the con and just said thank you and meant it.
Yeah.
That made it worthwhile for us, like you wouldn't believe.
Riker's beard,
you really did bring
the Carlos Cisco was amazing.
Oh, my God, yeah. Absolutely superb.
You're a great Cisco. You're a great Cisco. That was mind-blowing.
I said to these guys, right, I was a bit nervous when I went in. I wasn't quite sure what to expect. And I said I was literally...
Well, you didn't think it was going to be serious, did you, Dan?
No, I didn't think it was going to be serious, but I'm going to be completely honest with this, because this is what I said earlier on, and you can see it 'cause it's in the recording. I said, when you're watching any sort of theatrics, if it's done badly, it's cringe. And if comedy doesn't land, it's painful to sit through. But it wasn't a concern because it was absolutely superbly performed, and every joke landed. And honestly, I was literally crying laughing, and I walked out. And I said to Patches, who I think actually might be on here now, although I can't see him, I did say, if I'd have paid money to see that at the theatre, I would have been more than happy. That was absolutely superb. You need to record this.
Earlier, Dad?
It is what I said. It's not taking the piss. But it was.
I was genuinely concerned because evidently I don't look a great deal like Cisco, and you can't put black makeup on. And I checked, can't put a mask on. I was going to get a cardboard cutout. No, can't do that. So I said to Connor Trenier, I said, look, I said, because I didn't realise his accent wasn't from the south. He puts it on. So I said, so I asked him because I'm playing in a country band now. How much kind of twang I should put on the songs, because the modern stuff you can get away with, the older stuff it doesn't work without the twang, and is it appropriation? He's like, no, it's fine, do it. That's what most country singers in the US, that's what they do. I was like, okay. I said, what about Cisco's voice? I mean, I don't want to upset anyone if I'm that's dangerous ground there. And he went, nah, that's fine, it's acting, it's fine, you're going to do the voice, just don't like overdo it. Less is more. So I went for more is more.
Yeah, it worked. It did totally work. I mean, everyone that had a bit and played a part knew something about the character, got into character, and as Dan said, that the comedy was there. You know what I mean? The evasive answers from Garak and everything like that. And,
pretty much all
funny,
of that
but
was down to James. James scripted pretty much all of it. He was invaluable.
Yeah, totally.
Actually, no, in fairness, I didn't script very much of it. I gave the characters crib sheets saying these are points you must adhere to, but I gave them free rein to go where they went to. And the biggest thing is that Major McAvoy from UK Space Command, who was prosecuting, and literally he genuinely is a major in the British Army, we hadn't agreed on what was going to be in our speeches, so it was like a proper case. I didn't know what he was going to do, and he didn't know what I was going to do.
Yeah, and I think in true Trek fashion, it approached what is it's a hot topic right now, and it's a very serious thing. It's it was asking serious ethical questions, like an episode of Star Trek would, but it was wrapped in comedy, like the serious things in Star Trek are wrapped in sci-fi, and I love that. And I got a bit of a better convention experience because of that.
Thank you. So the reason we decided to do it is because we've done it before.
Yeah.
We did the trial of Janeway, but we were utterly shit-faced for that one. And that was funny for a variety of different reasons.
So can I ask then, the guy doing the prosecution, was that the guy doing the talk who was in all the army stuff?
So he is the major of UK Space Command.
Right. I've been
last year as well.
I've been going through my photos over the last couple of days using some photo editing software that keeps crashing on me. And when I was looking at the photos, I thought he really looks like, and I honestly did not think it was him. I thought it does look like him. But when you said that, I'm like, it actually is him. So there you go. That is. Does Alan act, by the way? Because I mentioned this earlier on. Alan Window. I said, surely he must act because he's got gravitas. He's got that voice. I said, if he doesn't act, he comes across as an actor.
Yeah.
He is an actor, yeah?
I don't think he's
not an actor, but he loves it.
He loves it.
Okay. I don't think he does any Amdram or anything like that, but he's in politics, so I think he's used to shouting across a room.
All right, okay. Well, there's theatrics involved in that, yeah.
And he's a Methodist minister.
All right, okay.
That makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah.
But Alan definitely was the glue that held that all together. He was absolutely superb. He really was.
Brilliant. The judge advocate. And I must say, I had the company of James' company on Saturday night at the bar. And James very kindly showed me the new latest which Riker's Beard's going to make. So I want to ask, when are you going to actually release that?
Well, it's really, I mean, we were hoping to have had it for Blackpool, but we haven't got any facilities to build it in or, space to work. And British weather doesn't allow you to build stuff outside and assume it's not going to absolutely hammer down with rain like it did today. So, it's as and when. However, we are in talks with Mr. Joyner for some funding, and he has offered some funding towards enabling me to build and which I can't discuss.
Two big issues are finding the space to build it and the space to store it. and James had negotiated and successfully secured storage at a local museum, and so he started building it, and then that fell through. They changed their minds, so we're completely stuck. So yeah, James has been doing his best, but there's only so much even James can do.
Yeah,
it's a shame. It's a shame you're a million miles away. You're actually from where my partner's from. Otherwise, I would gladly help with that. It's very much I build props and things with electronics in. Yeah, it's a shame you're a million miles away. I could definitely help with that. I have tried to convince everyone here to build a. Yeah.
James is incredible at what he does, but you will find the hardest bit is finding somewhere to store it. That is the problem. It's storage. Yeah, it's just incredible.
What's the maintenance like on the bridge that you take to the conventions? After it's had people sitting on it and taking pictures and everything, and after it's been moved around, because you probably get a little bit of battering when it's in, I don't know, the back of a van or whatever.
It's a lot of battering.
A lot of battering. One of the comments I remember from a couple of years ago, I think it was the last one at Birmingham, where people were saying, "Oh, it looks better than the actual bridge that you have your photograph taken again." You know what I mean? People were really quite blown away by the quality of it. And if you don't look after it, obviously, that quality doesn't maintain. So, how much effort does it take to keep it looking as good as it does?
Almost none, because we don't do any maintenance on it at all.
Oh, really? It doesn't look tatty. There's no gaffer tape on it, as far as I can see.
Well, we can't, because it's all in storage all the time. The only time it's ever in a place where we could maintain it is if it's been built at a convention.
I get you.
Occasionally, screw something back together or glue things back down, but
We
nothing's
take
been
glue-
repainted in years.
Glue, gaffer tape. I mean, there are bits that have been like. Do you remember the paint was still wet at Folkestone? Was it Folkestone?
No, the paint was still wet on its very first outing in 2012.
No, I'm sure the engineering table was still wet when we took that out for the first time. But yeah, the only time we can maintain it is when it's assembled.
Yeah.
There's been a Facebook picture recently of you maintaining it at a con. I don't remember which con it is. It's within the last year or so, because I was really laughing. I was like, that's my sort of last minute level of repairs there going on.
What is it? A picture of me like underneath the chair screwing it together or something?
something like that. I was like,
You can read all about it in the Riker's Beard annual.
Well, I think I can probably safely say that everyone on this call is going to be getting that when it's available. Do you have regular runs on like your pin badges and things like that, or is it like a one-off? Once you've done it, you've done it.
They're usually done as specific fundraisers because obviously there's a lot of materials and so forth that go into building all this stuff. And the way in which I can get away with it with my present wife is to ensure that it's cost neutral.
Yeah.
So I do these to cover the cost of the material. So the last one we did was the com badge, which is the TNG style one.
Yeah.
I'll run upstairs and get one in a minute. I'll show you. It's got the Riker's Beard logo on it.
Yeah.
And it's got a super magnetic backing. And we've got, I think, 6 of those left. And that's it. Unless I do another production run and I have to commit 500 quid to it.
Yeah.
Not been making more of those. Of course, we have the Riker's Beard belt buckle.
I've not seen that.
Have you got yours there, Richard?
Not to hand, I'm afraid, no.
I'll go and find those while you
can find
answer
the
questions
Riker's
about pins.
See if you can find the Riker's Beard yo-yo as well. But yeah, James comes up with these amazing things. So we've done runs of guitar picks.
Yeah.
There's the annual. There's con badges. There's bits and pieces. We have genuinely had some people in the Trek community accusing us of doing this for profit. Generally, we don't. Everything we do goes into the set. Every single convention we've ever done, apart from the destination ones, we've done for charity.
Yeah.
That's exclusively all the set has ever been used for has been supporting a charity, apart from the destinations. And even that, we've not done it for a profit. We've done it at cost.
Yeah.
So all the bits and pieces that we run for donations, like the badges, the pins, the belt buckles, all the rest of it, the cost gets absorbed into the set and then goes for charities. You speak to pretty much any fan group I've found when I've been at conventions, all of them normally support a charity. That's their common goal together. They normally have a charity when they do like a barbecue or whatever. It's normally all to support a charity.
Yeah.
Those 6 that you've got left, how would I go about getting one of those? Do I message you or?
Right.
Combat.
Here it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Epic.
That's cool.
So if you message the Riker's Beard page, and James will ping you his PayPal, and then he will post it to you.
Oh, lovely. Okay. Right at the very beginning when I started going to cons, which was like the last Birmingham one, I saw your meetings come up and I started to watch them, and I think the last one that I saw was when you were about to produce them, and then life got in the way, obviously.
Yeah.
And
Before those ones, we had these. Look at that.
Wow.
They're slick.
I fancy them, yeah.
The black one's my favourite, but yeah, we ran out of those.
Yeah.
Before you had those, you had the round ones as well.
Oh, the pin badges. Yeah,
No,
we've
we never had round ones.
No,
No,
the-
little round.
the little pins,
like,
yeah.
like this.
Yes, I've got the set of
Yes.
those, yeah.
I think there are. Yeah, here we are. Very rarely, seldom known, only ever issued voluntarily, cannot be purchased. The Golden Riker.
Oh, the Golden Riker.
Nice.
I think the last one we issued of that went to Marina Sirtis.
Yeah.
That one, sorry?
That silver one, the round one.
Yeah, that's my one.
These are the last of
Don't even try it, Patches. Don't even try it.
They're all gone. That production run is over. What else do we have here in my box of merch? We do have things like labels from the set. There.
Ah, right, okay, yeah. I like that.
Photon Warhead. There we
Yeah.
There's the isolinear chips. There's the range of
there we are.
left-handed
The Riker's Beard isolinear chips.
Nice.
Oh wow.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Which come in 4 different colours and 2 different designs.
I think a lot of these are probably fairly exclusive now. But these are collector's items now.
Yeah.
Well, that's how many chips I've got left.
All right, okay.
So there's those. We've also run the Riker's Beard jackets. They were very popular.
Yeah.
The Riker's Beard hats, baseball caps, they're completely sold out now. Yeah.
No, there's one left. I found one.
Masturbatorium. No. That's what I used to call my old conservatory. That's the masturbatorium.
Oh, that's nasty.
Yeah, so here is our last thing that I've made, because I needed one for my new Admiraling uniform.
Oh, that is fancy, that. That's nice, yeah. Some bling there.
If you want to find one online, the only one you will find is Film Welt for €600.
Is that Martin Netter film belt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If anyone wants one of these, I have 25 of them, and I will let them go for £100 each, because it's cost me a packet to make them.
I can see Patches is reaching for his phone now. What big sets and props have you got then? 'Cause you've got obviously the table that I forgot what it's called, engineering table with the cutouts. Then
The engineering master display table.
Master display table. You've got the bridge. I mentioned is it called Marina? The shuttle pod. Yeah, you've got that. I didn't see that at the convention.
In terms of the shuttlecraft, it's just too big.
Yeah.
Couldn't get to Blackpool. Too big and cumbersome and heavy. We've taken it to a convention before and they couldn't get it in, so we had to leave it outside.
Oh man, all the effort of taking it as well. That is a nightmare.
Well, the second time we took her out, someone told us, "Oh, we've decided we don't want it now," and I said, "I've built it, I've brought it, and I'm bringing it in whether you like it or not."
Yeah, exactly.
There was a door that was jammed that they claimed couldn't be opened, and I said, "I'm going to open it. Unless you come up with a solution, I will open this door. Not a problem."
And what was their reaction to that?
They found a different way of getting it in.
Yeah.
Oh, shocker.
Do you know when you come to the conventions? I'm just trying to think like the relationship with Jason Joyner, because it feels as though, well, everybody said it, that you're a big part of the convention, to the point where people can't really imagine the conventions now without a Riker's Beard, presence. And when it's not there, it's obvious by its absence. Does he recognise that, and does he approach you and ask you, about coming to the convention and support you, getting there and such like? Because logistically, as you've already explained, it is a nightmare.
Well, certainly this time round, he spent a lot of time with us.
Yeah.
And he's very keen for us to be there next year. So we've been told we'll be invited, and we'll talk about our rider of things like M&Ms with all the brown ones taken out, and
The biggest issue for the rider for me is the fact that it falls on my wedding anniversary, and this is one of only 3 nights of the year I've got a 50-50 chance of getting lucky. So
actually, I think 3 times a year is probably way above average for a Trekkie, so you're doing well there. But So you're definitely there at the next convention. That's good. So why weren't you there last year then?
We're not definitely there.
Not
no,
definitely
no, it's
there,
not
okay.
a done deal.
All right, okay.
I
Okay.
was trying to get a little soundbite there. I like that, Dan. That was almost reporterish.
Was it?
So you're definitely there at the next soundbite.
You heard it here on Shuttle Bay 4
Yeah.
first.
So in terms of last year, then, was there a reason why you weren't there last year? I'm sure I maybe read something. I don't know. Was it just availability
we
or?
just said it was too far, Dan. We said it's a 600-mile round trip. It's a full day's travel either way.
Yeah.
Plus build time, plus dismantling, plus unloading. So that was all supported, and Showmasters, in fairness, did agree to various terms to enable us to do it. But last year we just said, I'm sorry, no, it's just too far. Birmingham, we said, was the limit of how far we were prepared to travel.
Yeah.
And Blackpool's another 130 miles on.
So what time did you get back on Sunday then, or was it not Sunday you got back?
Oh no, we packed up on Sunday. It was nice to have the van all packed and stowed by 8 o'clock, but we drove back the following day. We stayed in the hotel that night.
Yeah.
Because it took us, 6 hours drive, Richard, I think?
About 6 hours, yeah.
Yeah.
Then we had to offload, and we had to get everything under cover because the storm was coming in. And then I had to get the van back to Enterprise the following morning. So, Monday was literally just travel and unload.
I get you. I suppose Sunday as well. It sounds like, but you deserve some downtime and some time with your family, rather than jumping straight in the van. So yeah, that'll make
But
sense.
also, I mean, between us, we'd done, I did 8 panels in a row, and I think Richard did a slightly different mixture to me because he ran off and did something else while I was doing the
Yeah, that was
mixology.
something that I think we agreed to a bit too quickly. If you haven't noticed, James and I normally are joined at the hip. We are the ant and deck of the convention. We like to stick together.
I can't see, man.
I can't see.
Because they had to cancel, the Trekkie girls had to cancel. They had no choice but to split us up for a couple of bits. And I don't like being separated from James because I'm there to look after him.
Did he go
Well,
rogue?
You've got to get that carer's allowance somehow.
So which panel was your favourite then of the ones that you chaired?
I think the trial was my favourite. We had so much fun with that.
That was, that's
Number
good.
one, brilliant. I loved it. I loved it.
I'm gutted I missed that.
Steve, you're gonna love this, Steve.
And then when you guys come back and you went, oh, it was fantastic. I was like, oh, damn it.
We should ask them to put it on the main stage next time, shouldn't we?
It should be on the main stage because it sounds daft, but it was so funny. We were all laughing, and when something's funny and you get that collective experience, it really adds to it. And I mean, that was one of the things I said when I came out. This needs to be recorded. You almost feel like it feels like everyone's being cheated out of it when only a few of you see it, and it's something that's so brilliant. You're like, oh, but nobody else got it. And I didn't see obviously the Janeway one, although from the sound of it, you were maybe a bit worse for wear for that anyway.
But on that, Dan, this goes back to the earlier point that we were talking about, where they put the title of everything going on, but there was no description. So the trial of Cisco, from before it happened, well, what is that? What do you do? And then
that could have been a very serious ethical debate.
If you'd have billed it as the Riker's Beard Trial of Benjamin Sisko, comedy, law, drama.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to have to shoot off as well, I'm afraid, guys, because I've literally hardly seen my wife since I've even been home. And I promised her I wouldn't be more than 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah, I do that all the time. Thanks for joining us, Richard. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you again. Thank you again, Sam. Honestly.
No problem at all. I was telling everybody it was a bit chaotic behind the scenes, and you guys have done a power of work over the weekend.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
We're all very grateful.
Yeah.
You're most welcome. Take care, everybody.
Good luck with the band.
Good night, then.
Look
Good
after
night.
yourselves and each
Good
other.
night,
Cheers.
Good night, John. So to answer to your question, Dan, we have the TNG bridge.
Yeah.
We have the Marina shuttlecraft. We have the engineering master table that you've seen. What you've not seen, and it's only ever been out twice, is the full TNG engine room.
Oh, wow.
Including warp core?
Sorry?
Including warp
It
core.
doesn't have a warp core because we haven't.
If not, I have one.
We haven't figured out how to build one in such a way that we can dismantle it and move it around and yeah. I have had an idea that involves mirrors. We have the transporter, obviously.
Oh yeah.
That people forget, and the not ever seen in public TOS bridge.
Oh.
Which basically we've got almost a quarter of it,
Yeah.
which is Scotty's station, the turbo lift, and all the coloured buttons and everything, all laser cut and built, and that's never been out because I just can't actually assemble it.
Oh, right, okay. Does that include captain's chair as well?
I don't have the captain's chair, and I haven't. Well, I've got the plans for it,
Yeah.
and I could build it very easily, but I have literally nowhere to keep it because it is so big. Kirk's chair, it's huge.
Yeah.
Picard's chair is big. Kirk's is twice the size, really, in terms of storage space, and it sits on a pedestal. You could build that as well.
I have a bit of a selfish question down that line, actually, and sorry to everyone online. The TNG seats are the original ones that those seats are based on now go for ludicrous amounts of money and always ruined. It looks like you've built yours from some set of. Have you built them from a set of plans or something like that? Because my next
I built them from some plans, but would you like to know where those plans came from?
Very, very much so. My next office chair is looking very much like that. That might be my next project. She's gone now, so I can ask the question.
They came from me spending literally 150 hours studying screen captures of Picard's chair and measuring it from every conceivable angle, including all the angled bits on the wood. And then after the first 100 hours or so going, I cannot reconcile these measurements. They don't work. Until I realised the reason for that is because every year between series, Picard's chair got nicked and they would have to replace the prop, and therefore I was not comparing the same props. So actually I created my own idealised version of what I thought was the best version of it, and I built it from that. And so yeah, that's how the plans came to be.
Well, that's cool. Is this all in the book, by the way? Because it sounds daft, but this go in and
the plans.
No, not the plans, not the plans. I don't mean that.
I like that.
I mean, it's a proper labour of love, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of blood and sweat and tears went into it, and people have occasionally said, "Can I get the plans off you?" And I go, "No." Because I sweated.
You'll notice I didn't even ask.
Well, if I give someone else the plans so they can make their own, then mine ceases to be unique, doesn't it?
Exactly, yeah. And also, when you think about the hardship you've gone through to actually figure out, how to build it and everything, that's your IP now. That chair, that's your, it's
unique selling point.
Exactly, yeah. I'm going to say that's where its value is, but I don't mean monetary value. I just mean the fact that it's this unique item.
Well, do you think that if you did give the plans out and someone did make it one of those chairs, do you think that they'd go through all the trouble to cart it around and have it for public viewing, or do you think it would just sit in a private collection, or they would, I don't know, they'd try and retail?
I'll tell you what would happen.
Like people for stupid money.
No, the actual plans themselves would be a value. People would sell the plans. That's what would happen. You would get people selling the plans.
That's why I didn't even ask.
There's a careful line with CBS and Paramount. They are aware of us. And they know that we operate on a not-for-profit basis, and they know that we've collected a fair amount for charity over the years. And basically, so long as we don't push beyond that, they're all right.
Yeah,
that's absolutely it. And if you sold them to somebody and someone started selling these chairs, you can guarantee attention would be gained where you don't want it.
Oh, they're very fast to identify IP breaches and decide if they want to come after you. And I think they realise I respect their IP. My stuff is not a direct copy of everything, so it looks like the Enterprise D, but it isn't obviously the Enterprise D.
Yeah.
And it's far enough away that they're content. So, I just rub along and try to stay below anyone's radar.
Yeah. Which charities is it that you support? Is it the same one throughout, or do you have different ones?
No, we've done usually based on whatever event we're at. So we've done Autism All Stars a number of times, Teenage Cancer Trust, Help for Heroes, Diabetes UK, and a local domestic abuse charity because I do domestic abuse work in my legal career. So I supported the local charity with that.
Yeah. Isn't Patrick Stewart one of the patrons of a domestic abuse charity?
He is. I'm not sure which one it is, but he didn't volunteer to come and sit in the chair for the purposes of RikerCon that 15 people came to.
All right.
RikerCon was essentially, we had a mate who was the landlord of a local hotel.
Yeah.
And we said to him, look, we'd like to try and do this, but we haven't got any budget to hire the venue or anything like that. Would you consider letting us have your venue if it's not in use for anything else? On the basis that obviously you'll sell a load of stuff across your bar.
Yeah.
And if it works out, we might do these events quite frequently. And so we did 2 of these where we had basically a cellar bar. We had the bridge down there We did sort of our own fan film contest. That was quite good fun. And you had a budget of under £5 for the film you could spend. We did the trial of Catherine Janeway, which was hilarious. When I called the orchid as a witness, the courtroom fell to pieces.
Brilliant.
Do you know what?
And
I was going to say, I'd love to see that at a future convention. Get people on one of the screens and have a fan film competition with, like you say, a budget of less than a fiver or less than a tenner. That would be,
Oh, that'd be hysterical.
I'd love to have a go at that. Yeah, that would be good.
I'll suggest it to Mr. Joyner and say, well, we could do that.
Yeah. Honestly, I would definitely be
seems
up
like
for
fun,
that.
yeah.
I would love to do that. But yeah, that
Have an Academy Award style presentation at the end.
The old O's, not the Oscars, the old O's.
No, the Rikers, the beardies. I don't know. They have to come up with a word that's better than.
What Richard and I did for our entry was Gol Madred interrogating Captain Picard. So Richard was Gol Madred.
Oh my God!
And he dressed up. You'll like this, Sam, because this was the Cardassian makeup supreme. He just stuck a teaspoon to his forehead.
A teaspoon? That's quite high. It could be a plastic spoon. That's.
And for me as Captain Picard, I bought a potato sack for £1 on eBay. I wore that, and we did the 4 lights scene.
Yeah. Did you suspend yourself from the ceiling as well?
No, I'm not full method.
I bet Alan would have done.
You just stood with your hands up.
We were lucky enough. We met David Warner at a local convention. He came to Folkestone about 5 years ago, and we were allowed to interview him. I mean, we're off just down some corridor somewhere to interview him. And I said, could we do the 4 lights scene? And he did. He said yes. So I've got this brilliant video of him asking me how many lights do I see in the most sinister voice you can imagine. And I do there are 4 lights and walk off camera looking dazed.
It was great at one. I can't remember which convention it was now at Birmingham. One of the when it was Destination Trek or Star Trek or whatever. And he was such a gent at that because I had a batleth sticking out my chest, and when he turned around, it nearly fell off his chair. It's like, whoa! But yeah, that was one of my favourite moments of that one. But yeah, no, that's cool. If you go to a convention that's not a Star Trek convention, obviously like Destination, do you get a similar, reception with, your props and everything?
No, I suppose not. I mean, we've been to non-specific Trek ones, and in fact, most of the ones we've done were generic.
Yeah.
And on occasions, we've had nobody come and see us at all. We've had a handful of people who've come up and felt they were in Hog's Heaven because they've had the use of the bridge for like half an hour and no one has disturbed them. Birmingham 2 years ago, as soon as people actually found out we were there, because you might remember we were at the back end of the hotel, and for a long time people didn't even realise that. We had a queue constantly from the moment people knew that it was there, and desperately trying to take pictures, especially because we were free.
Yes. But I never really thought about. Well, I did at the time, but I remember we had a similar conversation about this. The fact that it is free. You can get photographs taken in front of the bridge. You can sit on the bridge, and it's not a case of it's a tenner per person, and if you want 3 photos, you have to pay 3 times. It's not a case of that. And at this convention, because it was quite. There's no doubt about it. It was a quiet convention. This, and the Riker's beard sets. It was really easy to get a photograph on them. You know what I mean? And everybody was doing it. And I'm trying to think. I don't think there were any other photo opportunities at this convention, where there were no Borg regeneration chambers.
It's one thing that DT has always lacked as a con, and that's why I said earlier when I was giving my positives that if it wasn't for Riker's beard's set, that hall would have felt very empty.
I've only been going to Destination Trek for a couple of years. The first time was the last time in Birmingham, as these guys all know. And when I went for the day because I didn't know what to expect, didn't know, I've never even heard of it before. And I always remember when I rocked up and you had the shuttle out and you had the chair there and everything like that. And I was on my own and I went and sat in the chair, and one of you guys, I can't remember who it was, took the photos for me. And you were like, go on, have a go. Just sit in the chair. He said, do the pose, do this, do that. And it really, really made my day. But that's the sort of impact that your stuff has. Everybody wants to sit in Picard's chair. It's
true, and that's the joy for me. It's when I see people's little faces light up when they sit down and they see that actually it's also all the buttons are there on the armors as well. It looks like you can play with it and you can fire torpedoes. And then we give them the little tablet we've hooked up to the amp that you can press the buttons and you actually can launch a torpedo,
Okay.
or engage the warp drive or the self-destruct system or whatever. People love that. The kids love it in particular.
I can't believe that a non-Trek convention, general convention, that there are times where you may not get that many people coming over, because I would just thought if you've got a big set like that, especially because it's for free, what people like, if you can get a photograph in front of anything that's free. If you hate Back to the Future, if there's a free DeLorean, you're going to sit in it and have a photograph taken. So I can't believe that it feels almost criminal, that, doesn't it, really?
Especially a few years ago, Trek was not that popular. Like some of the first cons we went to with Esri when she was teeny tiny, I mean, a month or so old, like we were the only Star Trek people there. Mean that, and there was one that we went to, and there was a Star Trek prop, not Riker's beard, sorry, just like an LCAS panel. I was like, it's a bloody LCAS panel, and people are.
Well, you know what? We don't own the rights to sets, just because we've got some doesn't mean other people can't do it.
And they were like, oh, is that, someone was like, oh, is that from Star Wars? Is it from this? And I went, that's from TNG, and they were like, you are the first person all day to recognise that is a Star Trek prop. And I was like, I don't know whether to be sad or cry.
I'll tell you what, mate.
What's happened?
Last year, we went down to Portsmouth Comic Con. Rich and I, we just went down for the day. And I had a TNG top on, and he was just wearing a T-shirt. We saw two other people in Star Trek costume. In the entire thing, there were hundreds of people in Star Wars. They had a whole Star Wars zone, and the shuttle, as Richard mentioned, we couldn't fit it through the doors. It was really embarrassing. So it had to stay outside, but it was undercover, so it wasn't really seen, to be honest. But anyway, we had a whole room, which was Riker's beard, and for some reason there was a TARDIS and 3 Daleks in the corner.
We did that
and
in
the
Glasgow.
Star Wars guys see us all coming en masse and go, we see what you're doing.
So with the conventions then, James, do you think, and this isn't an opportunity for anyone to bash New Trek, but do you think with the Newer Trek series, have you seen more people dressing up in Star Trek stuff since, do you think that's had an impact on, the rise of, Star Trek fandom presence at the conventions, or do you not think it's had anything to do with it?
I think it's been quite modest, to be honest. You see a few Strange New Worlds costumes. Obviously, no one wears Discovery.
Prodigy. It's fine.
No. Lower Decks. You see a lot of Lower Decks.
Lower Decks is big,
don't they? I like Lower Decks. Richard thinks it's rubbish, but I think it's brilliant.
I don't know what he's talking about. Lower Decks is awesome.
I mean, Starfleet Academy is coming up, but that's going to have Tilly in it, so I'm automatically not very interested in it. And Picard, frankly, was the one that's re-energized Legacy fans.
Yeah.
Because basically we got TNG season 8, didn't we?
We did with season 3 of Picard, yeah.
Yeah. See, season 3 was TNG season 8.
It was. No, I've said that, yeah. Actually, I think as Richard was saying, you wasn't able to see a lot of stuff because you're constantly doing conventions. So what does a convention look like from your perspective then? Do you get to go and see any talks, or are the only talks you get to see the ones that you're actually holding the microphone for?
I mean, this is by far and away the busiest we've ever been.
Yeah.
We've only been invited to Destination once before, and we only hosted a couple of things at 2023.
Yeah.
Previous things, we've not really hosted anything. We went fully from just background people who are there to do photo ops to fully on stage and doing panels this time round. And I think we did 15 panels in total over the 3 days. And we picked up what we could, but we were already spread pretty thin by that point. And so from my point of view, it was strange because suddenly I was sitting on the stage with a guest looking at everyone else going, I'm supposed to be down there.
It's quite the risk that they take with that, really, isn't it? Because I know you've had conversations with him before, but you could have been really rogue with the celebrities on. You could have, gone, I don't fucking like you. Or anything could have happened. If there's no vetting before, you could go,
the guy just off stage with the taser.
I'm assuming next year then, assuming that you're at the con, you wouldn't want to be doing as many panels. You want to enjoy it a bit, at least.
I don't mind doing it. I mean, it would have just been better if we weren't running so rapidly from one thing to the other. And at one point, when we did the Riker's Beard sing-along, Richard had to run out of a panel that we were hosting with Leah, who was doing the Vulcan makeup tutorial. he had to run off to set up the amp and the guitar and so on, so that I could arrive with my triangle and do the actual solo work that was going on. So we had to keep running from one to the other. We just didn't have enough time.
Yeah.
And we could do that number of panels if it was averaged out more evenly over the 3, I suppose.
Okay.
I quite enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun up on the stage, particularly in the cosplay.
So what a fierce bunch of warriors we have here.
Yeah.
Because the crowd was really raring for it all to be fun and inclusive. And, with all the little kids who said, can we just come up on stage? Of course you can, darling. Let's get you up and give you a chance. That was lovely to do. And because we didn't have that many entrants, actually, it was quite nice. We didn't get struggling for time, as we were worried we weren't going to be able to fit it all in. If we had 300 people who wanted to go up on stage and we had 90 minutes, it wasn't going to work.
Yeah. No, it worked well. I did like the cosplay thing at the beginning, getting the kids up. It was quite, everyone got the moment. In fact, I think at the end as well, there was an opportunity to, if anybody else is wearing cosplay and just wants to come and stand up here, I'm not sure if anybody. Oh, I think 2 people did. If I remember, I think there was a guy and I don't know if it was his partner or what came on stage right at the end. But no.
Rachel went up, didn't she?
Yeah, Rachel went up on stage as cosplay. That's what I was talking about. But yeah, she did go up on stage because she spoke. Because she didn't want to enter the competition because she didn't go with somebody from Star Trek. She went from somebody from, I can't remember what it was.
Gargoyles.
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 Yeah, I was going to say trolls.
But it was Brent Spiner, the voice.
It's Brent Spiner who voices, yeah.
What do we have here then?
I am Puck. I'm not from Star Trek, but I'm from a cartoon show called Gargoyles.
James, just let you know, Rachel is basically a Brent Spiner obsessive. Literally went to America to get a photograph taken with him at a con. So he spent a bit of time with her, made her feel a bit special, and it was a bit of a magic moment for her.
That's also a downplay. Watch our episode, because our episode is amazing. She had the best fan experience you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
She was lucky. And it's because she's Rachel.
Yeah.
She's the most beautiful human being.
Yeah, she is lovely. Yeah.
That's something completely left field. I asked Conor Tredear, I said, okay, but in a straight fight between Trip, Scotty, O'Brien, and Bellana and Geordie, who's going to be able to reset the clock on my oven fastest?
Was he all right with you, Connor? Because a few people said he was a bit mardy.
He's got the patter because he's answered these questions so many times. There's answers that he's got ready to roll, and he'll vary with them. And it was a bit stuffy and hot. No, he was very courteous and professional to us.
That's good.
So we liked working with him.
Because the truth is, it's not nice hearing negative things about these people. It's always nice when everybody gets a positive experience. It's not. Although it's maybe interesting to hear.
That's Dan in a nutshell, though.
Yeah, I was about to say that is.
I think it must be very difficult if you're an actor at these conventions, and you hear the same question for the 1,000th time.
Yeah.
And you're trying to deliver something to the audience, and you're trying to do it in a way that is different. And a lot of these people are going to be the same people who've seen you before. They will know the answer. They'll almost be saying it with you. And so yeah, it must be tough for them.
That's why I like certain actors in Trek, certain stars that you wouldn't. I think John Billingsley saved one of the cons as it was really bombing for me.
Yeah.
Far too much space for a small convention, and John Billingsley, I think he spotted what was going on, spotted the fact that it was bombing, and become the showman that he is. And even though he's answered these questions a million times, and everyone kind of expected the answers that he was going to give, he just I think that's what separates a decent showman, a decent artist, from someone who's not really in it.
Yeah.
I'm not usually one to gush about it. What he did for that convention, which was save it almost. I don't like to gush. I'm not that person. They will tell you all of them. But that's what Riker's Beard did for this convention.
Yeah.
Oh, that's high praise.
Yeah.
It did, though.
Well, thank you, guys.
John Billingsley stepped in a bit, and like you said, really, it was just him being him, which is what I believe is the truth. That's just him being him.
Yeah.
Riker's Beard saved this convention this year.
Yeah.
Do you like the direction that Destination's going in? Because I must admit, I was concerned as it got smaller that it would disappear. I didn't want it to, but I thought you try and think about the financial feasibility of everything. But actually, I do like the direction it's going in. It being more of a fan community thing. And Jason Joyner, I did notice he was using the words like fan and community quite a lot when he was talking. So it feels as though that is the direction it's going in. Whether it's through one, or whether it's through necessity, I'm not sure. But
it's absolutely necessity.
But it does. Well, yeah, I think it is.
Necessity, that. And also, what's interesting is over the last few years, he's realised this is where I can do this continually. I think he might have lost if he didn't allow fans to be involved as much as they have been in the last few conventions, and I mean producing it for him too. He might have realised, shit, I can't do this, but he's using now the talent out there to help him continue this.
You had CBS support, which brought in Star Trek Online, but you had a lot of props and a lot of costumes and art from the movies there. You had the museum there, and time was taken to put that together and have that. There was model painting. There was episodes being shown round the clock. There was a lot more going on that actually can be done now. You can still do these things. It's just not, for some reason, it's just not happening.
That felt cold though. I found like the big ones, and I felt it big. I felt a bit overwhelming because I remember there was a big CBS stand for. I can't remember what it was now. I think it was the Roddenberry Vault actually when that came out. The Blu-ray set. I remember buying it. I actually didn't buy it at the event because if you bought it online, it was considerably cheaper than buying it there. So I think I probably stood at the booth ordering it, and it was there when I got back. But it felt cold. It felt this is CBS doing this, and they did have a funky thing where you could have your photograph taken in a transporter thing, but otherwise it did feel a bit corporate and cold.
I remember that one.
Yeah. Whereas what we've got now feels, I don't know, it just feels more relaxed. It feels like the classic for fans by fans and everything. I don't know if you remember this, James, but it was the last Birmingham convention that you were at. I remember you were sat at a table. You had the cardboard Riker. And I remember I'd had a few drinks, and I did come up to you, and I did.
You came storming up, didn't you?
Well, I'm hoping you don't remember actually, because I'm a bit embarrassed by it. Because I
remember it clearly, Dan.
No, I'd had quite a bit.
Good answer.
I'd had quite a bit to drink, and I was saying, "Oh, you're brilliant," and you've done that. And I was gushing, to use Brush's phrase, and I got a bit teary. I got a bit. So while I was talking, because I'd had quite a bit to drink, I was like, "Oh, thanks, for everything you've done there. Everyone appreciates it." And I started to get really emotional.
And you're number one fan.
Yeah, and it was one of those where I came away and I thought,
I love you.
I came away thinking,
I said something like, "Do you want to buy a mug?" So it's been lovely chatting with you.
Great to see you.
Thanks for joining us, James. Really appreciate that.
Thanks for inviting me along. It's been fun.
Cheers. Thanks a lot. See you next year.
Take care. Bye, James.
Cheers. Ghosting, right? Highlights.
Continue.
I did like Riker's bit because I was going to put that, and then everyone started talking.
And then he joined.
This is Brush's highlights.
Read them.
Doing Thursday to Monday.
Oh yeah, because Thursday to Monday, man, first time ever.
Yay!
Chase Masterson.
Chase Masterson run our show. She's
Martin
the best.
Quinn.
Martin Quinn. What a cutie. Riker's beer.
Kev.
I love Kev.
Food.
I went to the chip shop, the cafe, the shop, Morrison's. I ate everything in that dinner hall. 2 plates, massive plates of everything. I ate and ate. Vendors hall was better this year. I walked around there a lot, and I bought a lot more merch than I usually do. Big Lebowski. That was one of my favorite parts of this con.
Yeah, I'm listening, Steve.
Patches, first ever cosplay.
Oh, in that case, then, Sam, what were your highlights from the convention?
Oh no, I need to actually think.
That's flawless. Sam didn't get to see much of the convention.
No, I was busy.
No.
I was working.
Can I ask you a question? Because this might be a highlight for you. Yeah. Obviously, you did a talk on stage about makeup, and you became a Cardassian live on stage. Have you had a lot of feedback from that since? People saying that they, enjoyed it, whatever.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for 10:15 on a Sunday morning, 3 days into a con, we got a much better turnout than I thought we were going to get.
Yeah.
It was pretty full, so that was good. We get enough questions to keep going throughout, which was, we were worried we're just going to have to like talk crap just to fill silence. So that was good. It flowed quite naturally.
Yeah, it did.
Thankfully. But yeah, since, I've posted about it in various places, and there's been a significant amount of comments going, "Oh my god, I saw you there, and I really enjoyed that," and stuff. So that was really good. And I've talked to Serena since, and we're both quite happy to do it again next year with a different set of makeup.
Ooh.
So that's in the cards.
Interesting.
What are you thinking about becoming next year? Or do you not know yet?
Andorian.
Oh, right. I'm not just saying this.
Blue.
I was going to take the piss then and go Andorian, because I thought you're not going to do an Andorian live on stage. But if you do Andorian, that'd be brilliant. That's ambitious, that.
The wig and antenna are up in a bag on top of my shelf, so I'm gonna have to bring the wig down and brush it all out and cut it because, oh my god, it was long as fuck. But yeah, not like Enterprise TOS style where it's just blue.
Yeah.
But take a bit more Strange New Worlds and Discovery where they've got more like definition around the various bits of the face, and do the same sort of style of talk that I did this year. And then take 10 minutes at the end to get my wig on and sort that out and maybe talk about wigs, I suppose.
Oh, I've got
But
visions.
yes, genuinely, Andorians is on the cards.
That's brilliant. I've got visions of Serena standing there with like a paint roller, just going up and down you like this.
The cosplay competition was a bit of a nightmare, but it was actually really fun if it just hadn't taken up nearly my whole Saturday. There's like a full 2 hours of pre-judging and marking sheets and tallying up scores and a whole load of stuff that goes into it. But it was interesting seeing everybody's costume and getting to like actually talk to everyone that entered and get like a full kind of explanation of like how they'd made their cosplays and stuff. That was really interesting. It was really fun. Obviously, like I'm quite involved with cosplay myself, and I like seeing everybody else's cosplay and getting pictures with other people in cosplay. So it was enjoyable. It just took a lot of time. Yeah, hanging out with everybody, seeing people I hadn't seen since the year before, within and without the group. Yeah, it was really good. And Martin Quinn was there, and anytime Martin Quinn's anywhere is brilliant as far as I'm concerned. So that was fun. The talk, the cosplay competition, catching up with people and seeing Martin Quinn again.
That's cool. And thanks, Sam, for for being on stage and doing all that and dedicating your time to it, because it really adds to the event, and it was good seeing you on. It was good seeing you on stage. It was also great seeing the cosplay competition, and like I say, without you talking about it, we probably wouldn't appreciate how much effort goes into, everything behind the scenes.
There's been all this talk about Las Vegas and it being the 60th, and I must have had a blonde moment. Actually, do you know what? It'll be the 60th anniversary for us over here as well.
Yeah.
So there'll be quite an emphasis on really making it a good one.
Jason said that though. He said that next year's the 60th. He says he wants to make it a big convention. The Star Trek universe has got quite big now with all these other series. There's more guests to pick and choose from as well. There's just more available. So hopefully...
There's more British guests now as well.
Exactly. Like Martin Quinn, for example. But I mean, I think everybody, when Jeffrey Combs was mentioned, people were like, oh, Jeffrey Combs. You know what I mean? Straight away.
You'd class him as an A-lister.
To me, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Like on tier with like some of the really big ones. I would consider Jeffrey Combs a brilliant guest to have.
Also, Jeffrey Combs as well, outside of the Star Trek universe, is known for. This is going to sound like I'm belittling him when I'm not, but being a big part of a lot of the B-movie scene.
Other shows,
because if you watch like Canon Films, for example, I'm trying to think of examples. Oh, the Reanimator being the obvious one. I mean, Reanimator is such a popular film. It has its own like dedicated, meet and greets.
The fandom is massive.
It's a big deal as Jeffrey Combs for anybody who grew up watching rented videos in the 1980s. So there we go. If you hear him speak though, when he was on stage at the opening ceremony and bits throughout the weekend, because a lot of people were. I heard a lot of people before the convention say this is going to be the last one, but like he was saying, no, they've got a long-term plan. They're going to get and I think the fact that they have got a long-term plan and it has moved into a new kind of feel, I do get the impression that it will kind of get re-energized now as the new beast it is, and the fact that we've already got some good guest announcements for next year.
I was going to say, like, clearly with this year not going quite to plan, I don't think, in terms of guests and things, he's really started organising next year's early to make sure he could announce those guests. The guests that have been announced so far alone, I'd be quite happy with.
Can I just say, right, we've got Chris and we've got Patches on now. Well, Chris has been on for a while. Hello, Chris. What we did last week, and we're continuing it this week, is everyone's going to do a quick 2-minute summary of what they thought of the event. Was it a success and why, sort of thing. Just 2 minutes, Patches. Just 2 minutes.
So I thought the convention was pretty decent for what it was. It was a lot quieter. For me, it's meeting up with the Shuttle Bay 4 peeps. It's not really about the guests for me. Having said that, if they did have some sort of A-lister guests, then it would I'd definitely be there with some autographs and some photos and whatnot. But on this occasion, no. I didn't see the Connor talk, but I did see someone post a video on Facebook. And the way he just comes out and he sits down, to me, it come across as a guy that just didn't want to be there. I attended the Star Trek quiz. In fairness, that was actually quite challenging, I thought. It was...
Agreed, yeah, man.
It's good, though, because, I mean, I've done Star Trek quizzes before, and they're so easy, and you just got really... but this one was actually quite challenging. A couple of thank yous that I do want to issue. One is to Patches, because there was a shuttlecraft that I was eyeing up, and I couldn't make it because of things happened. But Patches knew I wanted it, and God bless him, he went out and he got it for me. So Patches, thank you. It's currently pride of place, so thank you. Another thing I wanted was again, it was a shuttlecraft. It was the one from TNG, and it was the... Oh God, who was the company that used to do all those shuttles and
Eagle Moss.
Eagle Moss, yeah. It was the Goddard shuttlecraft from Eagle Moss, an XL one. And I was like, oh, I don't mind that. And my old man, he bought it for me. He was like, there you go. But that was just really sweet. I was like, oh. So yeah, so thank you to my dad, thank you to Patches. That they both of you lovely. Thank you.
Did your dad enjoy it?
He did enjoy it, yeah. And he did say he wouldn't mind attending another one.
Oh, nice one. It was great to have him there, actually.
You know, it's nice to see Patches buying people's affection.
Yeah.
What a treat.
He don't have to buy my affection. He has that anyway. He knows that. And Monopoly, it was just absolute fantastic. I've never, ever finished a game of Monopoly.
5 hours,
It's the first
5
time I've
minutes
ever finished
of Monopoly.
And it was brilliant.
Cardassian Prime with a Stegosaurus. Yeah. 1400. There it is. Game over. Game over. Just Patches wins. Congratulations.
At the end of the day, I started the game with nothing, and I've left with nothing. Best man won. So that's my 2 minutes done.
Antoinette, I have 14 cats. Spock. Dax. Mischief. What's the name?
Gone Patches, 2 minutes. If we had the countdown clock now, that's what we'd have. Do 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 do.
Right. So in 2 minutes, I got the full con experience as I wanted the convention experience. It was the clubbing together of Shuttle Bay 4, and I got to experience everybody's company again, and that was great. That was a really, really good thing for me. Some of the talks, again, a bit of a letdown from Connor Trenier. I saw him outside, shook his hand, said hello. He went in. The opening ceremony, it was like, yeah, hello, this is me, I'm here. And that was it. And I thought, right, so he's saving it for the talks. The talks were laboured, and he didn't want to be there. And I thought, you know what, if you don't want to be here, then just put it on Facebook. I don't want to come to your thing, so I'm not coming. Rather than take people's money and then give them a crap performance. Some of the stuff that other people put on was good. The trial of Ben Sisko was good. And some of the other bits. The Monopoly was good. And that was kind of, we put that on ourselves. And that was Rashid wanting to do that. Now, I've had that board game experience at a previous con, and that's something I'd like to repeat. 6 people in Monopoly is always going to be a fucking long game. But we saw it from start to finish, and that was great. For every meal, you get to share meals with people, and it was great. That was a really, really nice part of having a convention in a place where you're staying. I had a really, really good time. It was quiet, and it felt quiet. I really enjoyed it, and I wasn't buying people's affection. As I was packing my patches, I realised, and that was about 350 quid of gifts and donations that I received from all of you lot. And I realised as I was putting my patches in the suitcase and I had my new ones on, that wouldn't have happened. That wouldn't really happen unless you helped me, all of you helped me when you did. And that was a massively generous thing for you all to do. So I just wanted to give something back because I could, and just return some of that generosity and keep it going. Because as the world gives to you, so you can give to the world. So that's why I did that. And it was every time I put them patches on, that's how I feel. They're different to me now than they were before. So I'm not buying affection. I'm returning affection. Believe me, I'm not beyond buying affection. On an hourly basis.
Now, Patches, that's infection, not affection.
See, that's where I've been going wrong. Them patches have a special meaning. And everyone's still going around doing that thing like, can I have a photo with you with your jacket? Just like they were in Orkney, but more so at the convention. And where did you get these patches? And do you know what I tell people? My friends bought me them.
Aww.
And they look,
I'd have
and they're like,
expected you to turn around and say, mind your fucking business.
you're never alone at a convention. I'm never alone now at a convention. And I fucking love that. And that's not to be overlooked, actually, because it's very important.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that because, well, I don't know if Jason Joyner will ever, watch this, but obviously we have conversed with him and such like. But I think it is important to know because I think we actually did say it to him as well while we were a bit drunk at the bar. The truth is the fact that this gathering that we've got here and the group that it was our same group of people at the convention. We wouldn't exist if it weren't for the events that he's, put on. And it does get knocked a lot, and it does disappoint me when you see a lot of negative comments because they're always the loudest ones. You know what I mean? Even though maybe the vast majority of what's been said about the event is positive, but they do stand out when you get something like that. And he must read these things, and it must feel a little bit. I mean, maybe he might be thick-skinned. He might be like, "No, I'm not bothered." But I've got a funny feeling that they do stab a bit and they do hurt a bit. Because I mean, I really enjoyed the event. I know it was a bit quieter, and I'm not going to go into it all because I've done my 2 minutes. But I quite like the quiet. I mean, obviously more people's good, and it makes it more business, more feasible or whatever. But I quite liked the calmer, less noisy. I really liked the pace of it. I really enjoyed it. And I think I said last time at one stage I was a bit worried. What am I going to do with the day? I've got like 2 photos today. I think I had 3 the entire event. But honestly, there was never a point I was ever bored because I'd walk around the vendors hall. I'd be constantly seeing cosplay. I'd be chatting to people. For some reason, I was constantly bumping into Sam. Honestly, I'm convinced Sam was thinking I was stalking her because every time Sam turned around, I was there. But I wasn't, I promise. It's pure coincidence. Hello, I like you,
I think over the course of the con, every time I turned round, it was just somebody going, "Can I take a picture?" And I'm like, yeah. And sometimes it was Dan, and sometimes it wasn't Dan. Just,
And that's important, actually. So going the Thursday and leaving the Monday.
Yeah.
And having that less of an onus, I have to see this person. I have to see this talk. I have to see them sing. I have to be there for this picture. Now, I've been to other conventions and Destination Star Trek where it's been military, like fucking bang, 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 bang. Got to get here. Got to see Kate Mulgrew. Got to see the premiere of this. And you are on the move all the time. You're exhausted at the end of the day. And you see people like, all right, and that's it. This time, I agree with you, Dan. I had time to stop and go, where did you get that? Who's, how you doing, mate? I haven't seen you for a bit. And talk to people. And again, that's a convention experience.
Oh, highlights. The gifts that Patches got me. The poster that him and John Joe were bidding on. But I finally got me triples. After how many years? 14 years, I got me triples. Yay. Because I was upset. I thought she won't be here because I didn't see her on the list of vendors, so I thought she won't be here. I got into the vendors hall on the Friday as soon as it opened. And they had me back there and I went, oh, she's not here. Oh, never mind. Turned round and she was right there in front of my face. Right, I stood right and be, you know what I mean? So when I was like, yay! Which set them all off. So I got them. Jeddy got his ships finally. I think
2012. I first saw them, and I've been umming and ahhing since 2012.
Which ships?
I'm very indecisive. I kept on thinking. I got the Akira class. I've got a D7 original series.
What Eagle Moth?
Yeah, and I've got a Klingon Bird of Prey.
See the D7, fabulous ship.
I'll never forget that Monopoly game. It was the best Monopoly game of my life. It was hilarious from start to finish. We did not stop laughing. Honestly, it was so funny.
You did lose twice, though.
Yeah. As the
And she's still more successful than John Joe.
Meeting Chase, seeing Chase, I guess. I didn't speak to Miss Martin. I'm gutted about that. I completely missed Martin. I missed all the things I wanted to do, all the talks, all the you know, the Mr. and Mrs., the quiz, yada yada. And it's my own fault. I know that. I mean, the room was all right. I got lucky with the room, and the food was all right.
And you could, you know what? If you wanted to sit there for 2 hours and eat for 2 hours,
Yeah.
if you wanted a plate of just meat or a plate of just vegetables, or you wanted to sit there and eat a fucking whole apple pie with a jug of custard, you can.
I did.
Yeah.
That apple pie
And the
was really
breakfast
nice.
was good. Breakfast was good. You know, and that set me up for the day. It really did set me up for the day. I think Brush missed a breakfast and he was fucking almost in tears about it.
It's the only time of the year we're all together under the same roof.
Yeah.
And that was the main thing for me. And I didn't mind the con. It was quiet. It reminded me of Telford. Quiet, friendly.
Yeah.
All it missed was the guests walking in amongst us and sitting down with us and chatting with us.
No, not everybody's going to Blackpool next year.
No, but we're going to book something between now and then, surely.
But it's not going to be something that all of us.
Everybody's going to be able to make it to, yeah.
DT is the only thing that we're all able to make.
Yeah.
Yep.
And with Vegas going on next year, some people can't do both. So
I said I wouldn't be able to do both, but I am going to do both because
I'm doing both.
The fear of missing out.
I'm doing Germany and Blackpool,
Yeah.
but that's more feasible.
Well, this might sound ridiculous, right? And I understand anybody listening to be like, what are you on about? But for me, I look forward to Destination more than I do the Vegas one. Because the Vegas one, I'm doing it because I want to do one. And I know I'm going to be queuing for hours.
Yeah.
The
I want to do something
conventions-
special for the 60th, and that's all the reason
Oh,
I'm
okay,
going.
sorry,
It's
yeah, I know
not-
what you mean. Yeah. Whereas
Give it a Pepsi challenge next year, Dan. You'll do both, and at the end of it, you'll say which one you enjoyed more.
For the benefit of the tape, you rented the wait, I say you rented it. You didn't rent it. You were given
We
access to the cinema. Yeah.
Yeah, I was granted access to the cinema at the Norbreck, which is 21 seats with room for a few more. You could bring some seats in, and I was given permission to show a film under certain circumstances. The times couldn't clash with the con. It couldn't start too early, couldn't start too late, and the film has to be PG or below. But it worked out really, really well, and I'll be doing that again next year, definitely.
Here we go. Ready? In terms of structured conversation, let's move on to vendors now. Is everybody happy with that?
2 seconds. I've got something to get then.
Oh, someone's going to get something. So, in terms of vendors, then at this convention, I mean, there was no doubt there was more vendors here, and John Joe isn't here to say it, so I'll say it for him because he said it last week. There was a lot of Star Trek stuff because often at these conventions you get generic sci-fi stuff. And there were
It was Funko Pops last year.
this year there was a load of like real good Star Trek stuff, and I don't just mean like rows and rows of the same stuff. I mean there were lots of like old stuff as well, like classic stuff that you haven't seen since the 90s, and loads of it. And I thought a lot of the prices were really fair. And we've got Kev. I mean, just all right, Kev. I know everyone's going to talk about Kev, but just to summarise what the situation with Kev, if I'm sure I've got this right, Kev has basically collected a shit ton of Star Trek stuff over the years. I think he's downsizing. Maybe his missus don't like him having all this shit around the house. I'm not quite sure.
No, he's
what.
moving in with his father-in-law.
Is he moving in with his
They're looking after
father-in-law?
his father-in-law, so they need to downsize to go and look after him.
And
okay.
But there's not enough room,
Okay,
so
so-
that's why it's got to go.
Okay, so the downsizing, and it was clearly sad to see it go, but he said he wants it to go to fans. He wasn't there to rip people off. He was there because he wants it to. And he was saying, because I was talking to him and somebody bought something, and he said something like, "Look at the look on their face." He says, honestly, he says that's that's priceless to him. The fact that somebody's got this thing that's
And they're
brought them a
looking
lot
at
of
it like
joy.
with joy.
Exactly, yeah. Because he was joking with me. He said, "Do you know anybody called Kev?" And I didn't get what he was on about at first. I says, "No, why?" And he says, "Oh well, actually I do now. Chris's dad, but I thought it was called Brian at the time." But he, because he said one of the things he's struggling to sell, he's got a load of autographed photographs, and autographed things over the years, but they all say to Kev. So that was the one thing he was struggling to sell. But he was a great character. He was there. Everybody, I think I'd seen him on Facebook selling this stuff. He had a good chat with everybody. He was like everybody else. He wasn't there just flogging stuff. He was there because he was a genuine fan. And at one stage, he came out from behind his, stand, and he was showing me photographs of him with people from previous conventions. And it was a real solid part of the convention, Kev. I don't know if I bought anything
Yeah.
from him. Oh yeah, I did. I bought, a metal tin with some playing cards in it. Because there was another stall selling it, and they were selling it for a tenner. So I says, how much is this? And I was expecting him to say, like a tenner or more. So I could say, well, they're selling it for a tenner. And he goes, I can have that for a fiver. I was like, oh, nice one. I'll have that then. So yeah, that's a bit of a bargain, I think.
We bought off him. One thing I've not got is DVDs of Star Trek.
Yeah.
I've only got, sorry to say, the JJ ones because the kids enjoyed them, and I never got round to buying them. So I bought his collection off him.
Yeah.
The box set, the big
box
box set.
set. It's upstairs.
Oh yeah.
I bought a box set of DVDs off him just because fucking Gibbo, he went, oh yeah, this DVD is Star Trek 6, and then fucked off with it and took it with him. So we had no movie to watch for the cinema thing, so I had to go out and buy the fuckers. The Playmates series of toys was available in places like Beatties and all of that lot. So you had the tricorder, the phaser, and the action figures. And he had those action figures, and he had carded ones, he had loose ones, and he wasn't taking the piss with the price. He wasn't.
When he sold his Voyager, it was the first model he ever made, and he put all the lights in it, he painted it, he took his time. That nearly broke his heart. You were there when he sold it.
Was that the one on the top shelf?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
big
I seen it
Voyager.
just after that. I didn't see the Voyager, but I saw it. I must have come up just after he sold it because he was in bits a little bit. But in terms of the merch overall, it wasn't just the fact that there was a shitload of the Eagle Moss ships, which there wasn't last year. And, I love them. I think they're brilliant. I got Tiger Core, I got Deep Space Nine, I got ships. But there was also new stuff there. So, like the Riser gift bag, with the Horgon and all the guff, really, really creative stuff. Sci-Fi Quartermasters were there, and they've got even more stuff than they did last year. I got the fucking picture of the Defiant back there, leading away from DS9, which
I wonder if that's the same one I've got hanging up in front of me.
It was literally, I saw it, and I think it was like the first thing I bought because I just fell in love with it.
I bought a really shit Captain Kirk action figure, my Captain Kirk doll.
I love that. The silver fucking suit and it's brilliant. I love that.
It's so naff. I had to have it because I love it. It's so naff. I can show you the. In fact, I'm just going to go off it because I'm going to show you the worst thing I got with it.
Oh dear.
Can't wait to see this.
I've got a funny feeling it's a next gen cock ring.
And he's going to model it.
Look.
It's not quite that level of shit, but here we go. Speaking of my missus, right? When I was at the convention, she says, I bought you a present for when you get home. She says, it's absolutely awful, but I saw it in a charity shop and I had to buy you it. And I said, well, it can't be any worse than this bloody Captain Kirk doll I've bought. I walked in and she showed me and I'm like, oh, it's definitely worse than the Captain Kirk doll. I showed Patches this the other day. This is, do you know those Hamilton Collection plates?
Yeah.
This I didn't even know this one existed. This is called Picard's Christmas in the Nexus, and it's absolutely awful.
My
disgusting.
God.
Have you seen it?
That better go up at Christmas stand. That better fucking go up on those awful little plate
Why
stands.
do you like Packard and Guinan are about to kiss?
It's just really awful.
Picard's in there twice, look.
Yeah.
Let's please with that.
If I can mention some good shit that we actually got.
Go on then. What good merch did you get?
Sam.
No, this is purely a shout out for Tilly's accessories because I think they're fucking awesome. But does anyone recognise this? Does anyone know what this is?
It's a Klingon.
No.
It's not Klingon.
No.
Is it?
It's not just the
Alternate
Klingon
universe.
symbol. This is the
It's the
Klingon
alternate
Cardassian
universe.
Alliance badge from the
KCA.
fucking Mirror Universe that
Ah.
I got her to
Yes.
custom make me as a patch after last year's con that she has gone ahead and slapped on a bag for me. But not only that, she's got all these wee key rings and I got a Scotty and I'm quite chuffed.
Yeah. Do you know what?
But I am so happy with this bag. You have no idea.
Vic is in love with those fucking key rings. She got.
Oh, I've got
one
too many.
last-
It's ridiculous.
She got one last year, and then she got Pike this year.
I have a
Last year
Cardassian emblem one that's on my keys 24/7.
I got Locutus last year. Yeah. And then Patches bought me
Scotty.
Wolf.
On that vein, it was really nice to have like more artist alley type people. Space Cap Art were there, and I've seen them at plenty of other cons. Their stuff's really nice. And
Yeah.
it was nice to have artists.
Sorry, go on.
Glasswork was nice as well, really nice.
Yeah, the glass stuff was lovely. Yeah.
Yeah. One thing, this is going to be maybe a bit controversial-ish, but obviously there is this big thing about, official merch and non-official merch and all that sort of stuff, bootleg stuff and all that jazz. Because obviously all this stuff that we're seeing isn't official merch, but I love it. These are proper fans making proper stuff that we actually really want. And the quality, John Joe said before, if you look at the official Star Trek stuff, most of it's absolute trash, the quality of it. But this patch here, this is the first time I've actually really sit there and looked at it since the con. It's brilliant. It's like,
It's got a really nice, because they've upgraded them all from last year. It was a popper that was on to hold them on, and they've upgraded them to the little eyelets, and they're absolutely brilliant.
They're absolutely brilliant, because it's Tilly's Accessories. I saw them last year, and I was going to get, and for some reason I was going to get a couple of the patches and I didn't, and this year I got a couple, and they are absolutely brilliant. I just because there's the sort of thing that they're not particularly expensive to buy, and they're great quality, and I'm looking forward to having that Hammy Bad. Well, they've got a new toy apparently. They've got a new machine to make stuff. But yeah, they're just people who just put a lot of effort into it, and they're not ripping people off. They're adding to the fandom, and and they were one of the a highlight vendor really at the event.
I reckon most people came away from the con with at least one of the key rings.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I'm loving this kind of stuff. And my place is filling up with this shit because it's what I always wanted. And to be honest, the con this year, it was a hub of that kind of cottage industry kind of shit, and I loved it. I
like it. Yeah. When I go to conventions, I'd spend more time in the artist alley than with any of the vendors, because it's just so much different, interesting stuff.
Well, Jason wants that fan community thing, and and this is a way of kind of really dialing up the fan community stuff, because it's fans who have made stuff, selling it on, and in addition to do you know what? I meant to have my mug with me. I took it out of the box. I actually had a cup of tea with it, and I left it in there. But yeah, the Shuttle Bay 4 mug. Big shout out, by the way, to Brownie Prince. If you're in Doncaster, Brownie Prince are the place to go, and it's not sponsored because.
I was going to say something.
Because they're not sponsored at all.
Not sponsored at all. In fact, we're not sponsored by anyone because nobody watches our videos. Apart from Matthew. Hi, Matthew.
This is my youngest son, Alex.
Hi, Alex.
Hi, Alex.
Hello.
All right, Alex.
So he's just asked me, he's coming. He said, "What are you watching?" And I said, "Well, this is Shuttle Bay 4. This is my podcast I do." He went, "A podcast for what?" And I went, "Star Trek." And he went, and he was just about to say, "Oh, okay, I'll leave you to it then." And then he said, "You know what? Maybe I should watch an episode of Star Trek."
Guests. We've kind of already mentioned guests, okay? And yeah, the number of guests was low, but I think there was a fairly interesting mix of guests. It's a difficult one with guests, because the truth is that we've all said that for us a convention isn't really about the guests anymore, and it isn't for me. And the truth is, if there was a shit ton of guests, I would have felt pressure to get photographs with various guests, and like somebody said, it becomes like a military operation. I need to be here, I need to be there, I need to be wherever. And for me, I was able to relax, because I think I did 2 pictures on the Friday, 1 on the Saturday, and I think that's it. I think I only did 3, and it meant I could just relax. I only had to be in one place at one time, one day or whatever, and it was just nice and easy.
When you have too many guests, when you have like 30 odd plus guests, and you want half the fucking, you're running around.
You are, yeah.
Like 2012, all we saw was people running around in 2012.
Stress.
There was that many. Same with 2014 and 2016.
Mm.
I like it. Something like 15 guests. 15 decent guests is quite enough, I think.
As long as the people's passion and energy is there.
Yeah.
The John Billingsleys and all of that lot. That not the biggest fucking name.
The big
passion
energy.
and the energy is there.
Yeah.
Chaser was big energy.
Yeah.
She was brilliant.
Chase was good.
And every panel she was on. And also, what was interesting, because I watched the Chase talk, there's very little talk about Star Trek, and you didn't even realise it until you walked out, because she was so fascinating talking about the charity work she's involved in and that. And she just came across as, genuinely lovely. And me and Patches, one of my favourite moments, when me and Patches, we got a photograph with, a selfie with Chase. The funny thing is, we weren't even chatting to her. She was chatting to Jason Joyner, and I was like, "Oh, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt Jason. I just wanted to have a quick chat with him." And then, we got a picture with her. But she was genuinely lovely. And she was the sort of person who would walk through and stop and chat to people, and
Yeah.
she almost feels, you get the impression that she almost feels like she owes a debt, to the fans. Not because she feels obligated to do it, because she enjoys it. She enjoys being with the fans. She knows how much like she means to the fans, and her being in Star Trek means to the fans, and she knows how much those interactions mean, and so she wants to make sure that every one of those interactions is special, which is why when she's talking to you, she'll hold your hands. Oh, what's your name? She asks everybody the name. She made everybody feel special. She makes those interactions special, and it's and it's nice that somebody does that. While we're talking about personalities and things like that, we're talking about merch, favorite merch. The truth is, we've got we had Siddharth with the ducks, which I think we mentioned last year.
Yep.
So I came up with some freebies that mean more to me than the stuff
I've
I
got some
bought.
strange
because
freebies, yeah.
because somebody put effort into that and gave it out, and I've I got that. You had Steve with his Shuttle Bay 4 wristbands, and then you
Love
had
it. Love it.
Anthony Raythorn with his Make It So. He's giving them out, just stuff like that. I just think it's brilliant. People are giving this stuff away. I gave out a few sort of A4 coasters, not the premium deluxe 3D printed ones, but the one I had about 300 made of last year, and I still got a bag full of them. Yeah, me pay and key rings. But yeah, I do like that. I thought that was a really nice touch. Talks, right? I missed out on a load of talks last year because I just didn't really have time. This year, I didn't attend that many talks, but one thing I did find, there were loads of talks on that science and community stage, which was brilliantly placed in that vendors hall. It wasn't hidden away. Excellent audio, excellent visuals, and every single time I walked past it, there was a talk going on that really hooked me in. And I do feel like I got great value for money. It was free, so I'm kind of like being facetious there, but it was. Every talk on there was brilliant. I mean, and Sam gave one as well. And like you said, the audience on that Sunday,
It was a really good audience for first thing on a Sunday morning. It really was.
but Sunday morning, when the energy is going to be low, and Trekkie Girls weren't there, so theirs had been cancelled. It's like, but
so we were first. We were like the first
you were
thing
the
on the
first ones.
stage.
And it was as far as I could tell, it was full. You had people engaging, people laughing, people clapping, people asking questions.
Now floating through the vendors, if you hear something like, what's that about makeup? What's that about space? And you can just float over. So you don't need a seat. You can just stand, listen, and float away. And I love that.
Accessible
that format.
patches.
That was really good.
Accessible is the word there, because you didn't have to go to another room. Or I know there were some things in other rooms, but on that main stage, because it was so great. Because the problem is, like at the previous conventions of like NEC, which obviously is a great place for conventions, but it's not great for talks. The audio's even if it's a paid thing, often the audio was so bad you couldn't really make it out. Whereas there, the audio was brilliant, and it was like almost like having live entertainment. You could walk around the vendors and still hear what they were saying, so you didn't have to necessarily just stand right in front of the stage and watch it. And that really added to the atmosphere. And I think that was one of the real benefits, one of the main things that added energy to the convention, I felt.
Not having to leave the vendors hall to listen to a talk or tune into a talk and not feel like, you can stand at the back and not feel like you have to, when you stand up, excuse me, and you have to cross everyone to leave in the middle of a talk. Someone's trying to talk and you're like, excuse me, sorry. And obviously leaving, and maybe it's because you got a photograph, maybe it's because you you need a nature break, whatever. If you can float in from the back, stand there and then float off for your thing. That's the accessible part. The way they did it, the format is good. I like that.
I suppose the final thing to end on, any improvements that we would make. This is the proper like project management meeting. We're kind of like what improvements would you like to see for next time? I haven't got anything major improvements, to be honest. But the timetable, I suppose, is. I mean, I didn't have any issues, but I understand that other people did, because I didn't really need a timetable for the stuff I was doing. I wonder if it's possible for them to have, because obviously there is the app. I'm not sure if it's a proper app or if it's just links to the website. But it would
It's
be good.
kind of just links to the website.
It's just a website link.
Well, it'd be good if there was some sort of like pop-up notifications when timetables change, or even if you could like register your number to get like a text message or a WhatsApp message or just something. So when there's a timetable change, you just get here's a link to the there's been a timetable change. Here's a link. It would be good if there was like some sort of like pop-up notification you could get on your phone for when there's a timetable change. So that sort of thing maybe could be quite useful, because at least then you're alerted to a timetable change and you can access it on your phone. Because I know I saw a lot of people taking pictures of the timetable. The only problem with that is you're then working from you're working from a document that's maybe out of date then. Every
time I walked past the one that was like just past the bar, I was checking it every time I walked past to make sure it hadn't changed again.
The museum, there wasn't much from the museum. It would have been nice to see that, but the layout, I said this last week, the layout this year I thought was excellent. The Lego guy, Dean Tomlinson, before he was miles away, like down that arse end, but this
in
time
that corner.
He was in the vendors hall, and he was there like for the full weekend. He was constantly manning his tables, talking to everybody. I think he had his kid there as well. He had his one of his kids there it was brilliant as well, because she was saying because he was asking her what's her favorite ship and things like that, and she was talking about some of the issues that he had, and he had time for everybody. He talked to everybody about his ships and everything and what he was working on. And again, that's just a good addition of, like fan community, somebody who's there who brought something to the convention. And I don't just mean his Lego, which is brilliant. I mean, he brought himself, he spoke to people, he engaged with people, and he seemed to really enjoy it. I hope he did, because I know it can be difficult when you're manning a table for the full thing. You're maybe not getting to see the full experience, but at least he had people coming to him and talking to him. So, I really enjoyed chatting to him. He was really friendly, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does next year. I think going to those conventions, having people talking about your Lego, and the truth is, getting your ego stroked a bit, and I mean that in a positive way. It's good if people are saying, "I really like what you're doing." Hopefully, that'll encourage him to do even more Lego and bring more stuff next year. The queues this year, because there were so few guests, they were able to have them in that main hall. You couldn't do that with more guests, as we saw when we had. Is it Michael Quinn? I forgot his name. Martin Quinn. Somebody else called him Michael Quinn at the weekend, definitely, because I heard people saying that. William Quinn. William Quinn. Brian Quinn. His queue was massive. You could barely walk through the hall. And if you imagine the mighty Quinn, if you had a couple of Quinns there like that, Quinn-sized queues, it just wouldn't work. So with more guests, and I do think we will have more next year, I suppose that you won't be able to have the photos in the same place. But it was great this year. The fact that you could be within these two halls and just experience.
The fact that the photos weren't at the end of that ridiculously hot corridor just was a benefit.
Yeah.
They could have had them literally anywhere else as long as it wasn't at the end of that corridor. Everything would have been better.
The only time I walked down that corridor was when we went in for the closing ceremony, and it hadn't even been a particularly sunny day. But that corridor was still hot as hell.
Yeah. Now imagine being in full costume with multiple layers on, waiting half an hour for a photo.
Yeah.
It was fucking horrific. I'm looking forward to next year.
I enjoyed it.
I like the fact that it's not a generic sci-fi con, and it's not a photo autograph factory with no vendors and no fuck all and no talks and no fan involvement. It's shrunk down from the NEC and the XL, but I didn't meet any of you there. I met you in Birmingham.
Yeah.
Birmingham was nice. This is a bit fucking rough and ready, but there are perks to it. Yeah. I like these hotel-based conventions that are small and kitschy and really niche and really geeky. And I think the Norbreck actually does kind of fucking suit what we're doing as well.
I think it does.
Do you know what I mean?
It's got a bit of character on it.
You're doing it. Patches, it's user friendly.
If it's 10,000 fucking people and you're going for that fucking, like Time Out London kind of spot, then the XL will do it.
If it's super expensive, the truth is it will exclude some people from going, right? It will exclude some. I know some people say, "Oh, this is because of the location," but it makes no difference for location, because wherever you pick, it's going to be inconvenient for someone. It makes, do you know what I mean? That's you're always going to have that. But if you're having a few cash flow issues, it's awful if you have to, miss out on something like that. So the fact that makes it more accessible, the fact that it can be a cheaper convention for people to enjoy. I mean, like I said, I wasn't going to go next year, so I was going to, I'm going to go to Vegas. I thought, can I really do two in the same month? Can I really afford, the time or the money or whatever? But the truth is, I can't not go to a destination. I enjoy it too much. I enjoy I would rather miss out on Vegas than destination. And I know that sounds mental, but I would, because it, like I say, I want to meet you guys. I want to sit there. I want to relax. I kind of know what I'm getting at that convention. And if I'm with my people, I'm with my tribe, it feels relaxed. Yeah. I'll tell you what though, behind the Norbreck, I didn't experience it last year, but this year I did. There is an excellent chip shop. There you go.
Yes, there is.
We've just been talking about Star Trek Nemesis, and that reminds me, on Monday, the 15th of September, it's Tom Hardy's birthday, who was in Star Trek Nemesis. No, we're not bothered about Tom Hardy. Because you know who?
No, Tom Hardy's good.
No,
I
no.
like Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy is nowhere near as good as the person I'm about to mention next, who, as we all know, is quite possibly the nicest person in the world. It's Rashid's birthday.
Rashid's birthday.
It's his 50th birthday on Monday the 15th. So I think we should all say happy birthday to Rashid. You ready? Happy birthday, Rashid!